I am
worst
so glad that I pressed the go live button when I did. I think we I think we just about managed to miss the last word of that. So that's good. Otherwise, we're demonetized already. Fantastic.
God.
What were you saying about Godzilla fans, Cynic? Do you want to just repeat it in
They're the
terms of
smartest
safe for work?
group of fans on the planet, of any fan base of
Most
any
distinguished gentlemen.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if we're talking, what genre. It doesn't even have to be film. Out of sports, anything, I would say Godzilla fans are the smartest group on the planet.
They're the best.
That's what I was saying before we went live.
Now just imagine that, but like make it the complete inverse and ruder. And then you are correct. But if you are as smart as Cynic says you are Godzilla fans, then you already know what he's called you. But yes, welcome to the best show in the universe, probably. We are joined by our usual assortment of like lovely panelists. I think also Random Film Talk, this is your first time here. I forget always who we've actually had on before, but I believe this is your first time with us, is it not?
This is my first time being on here. Yeah. It's Thank you for sending me an invite. It's nice to meet you guys.
Likewise. Yeah, no, it does great content. Anyone who in the chat who is not already subscribed should be subscribed, and hopefully will be subscribed by the time that we finish up here this evening. But I thought would be the great person to have on, because we'll be talking about the woke bros thing that happened, and then was somehow mysteriously deleted from the internet over the course of about 6 hours. So we originally had something to talk about, and now it turns out we don't. So we're just going to have to try and fill the time somehow, I suppose. But I guess before we get on to that, this is nominally a news thing. We do news things on this show sometimes, do we not? There's a couple of smaller things that have happened in the last sort of few days. Obviously, there's the Disney proxy stuff, which I know I've talked about on FNT and George Durant's live stream already this weekend. So if anyone has anything to talk about that, please take it from me, because I'm bored of that by now. The Silver Surfer stuff comes out after that. Jonathan Majors has been not slammed up. He's actually got off pretty lightly. Apparently,
very lightly.
If you're a famous
Really
actor,
lightly.
then you can commit assault, and all you get as a result of that is, to be fair, being sentenced to therapy for a whole year is quite dire if you're like the kind of person like me who really doesn't like therapy. But so that happened as well, and I'm sure there's some other things that have occurred. But where do we want to start? Should we kick off with the Silver Surfer stuff? I mean, I don't know anything about this character really, but Cynic, I know you probably know more than I do.
I'm not super into the character, but what I found most interesting about it. So, to just give some background, I'm sure everyone in the chat's aware, but just for the sake of it. So Nelson Peltz did not win the board seats and everything, and then Bob Iger came out and said something along the lines of how people who are saying that they're injecting woke content into stuff, they don't even know what that word means, and yada yada yada. Their primary goal when they're making films isn't messaging and should not be, and it's to tell entertaining stories. And then around the same time, I think in the same 24-hour block, they announced that their first iteration of Silver Surfer in the MCU is going to be a female, which is just like, regardless of whether you know about the history of the character or not, it's one of those watch what people do and not what they say type of moments. I mean, it really is, because at what point are you like, what am I supposed to do, or what are we supposed to do as an audience? Like, give them a benefit of the doubt that this isn't going to be the exact same thing we've seen over the past like 4 or 5 years. It absolutely is. And and any argument that would typically made or be made about this situation over the past few years really wouldn't hold any weight. Like, this iteration of the character is from the comic books, but as far as I do know, the character was only Silver Surfer for like 1 issue, like ever. Like, it's so obscure and it's pointless, and it really is like it comes off whatever it ends up being or not. It says that it's a virtue signal right out front. Like, it's DEI type of situation. It's the exact same shit we've been seeing over the past 5 years. It's the same thing over and over. But yeah, sorry, I've been rattling on and not giving anyone else a chance to talk. I've just been like stewing about this over the past few days because I'm working into a script right now. So
Yeah, I think it's interesting the fact that they cast Julia Garner. I think that she's a good actress, but Silver Surfer is how are they gonna, pull off the costume? That's what I'm thinking. Number one, is it gonna be fully CG? Are
Yeah,
they gonna
yeah.
model her body? If they are modeling her body, yeah, we should get the people behind Stellar Blade, man. Why not? Just have fun with it at this point, because we know that it's gonna be trash anyways. I don't think that Disney is capable of writing a good Fantastic Four movie. How many Fantastic Four movies have we had? Three. We had the first one, which was just campy, early 2000s fun.
Yeah, it was
Uh,
ridiculous.
Rise of the Silver Surfer, I thought was dog shit. I could barely watch that movie. And then there was Fant Four Stick in 2015, which
And
was
Four Stick is kind of legendary, yeah.
yeah, legendary trash.
It is crazy.
Yeah, so I don't know. I have no faith in them in terms of what's going on with Fantastic Four in general, just from the casting alone. I think Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic was like the first red flag because, yeah, hashtag stop casting Pedro and everything, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
That's
that was a
something I
big
can get
miss.
behind.
They're going to
He's
give him a
like
small child to look after.
the Troy Baker of TV, isn't he? It's like he's in absolutely everything. If there's a voice part, it's Troy Baker, and if there's like a generic strong-ish male character, it's got to be Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
And for those of us like me, I don't think I've ever seen Fan Four Stick, or if I have, I completely blotted it from my mind. What is so famously terrible about that? And
The
do we have
movie.
confidence that they are at least just the whole movie is as
Yeah,
bad?
everything.
The whole
Okay.
movie. Seriously, like no joke. The whole movie is trash. That's why it's so like.
Wait, what did
You
you
should
call
watch
it?
Fant Four Stick.
And Four Stick, it's yeah.
Yeah, that's the name. Seriously.
I don't think I've ever
And
heard
Four
it
Stick.
called that before. That's
The
fantastic.
four is in
That's
the middle of the
fantastic.
name, like replacing the A.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah. I
Four
know.
Stick.
I wonder
So
how they
people call it-
decided which A they were going to replace, because it could have been Faunt for Faunt Fastic or something, or
Or Porn Stick.
Yeah, I think the director,
Two fours.
Josh Trank, I think was the director on that one. I
Yeah,
can't remember. I want to say
initially.
he was the guy that did
Yes.
Chronicle. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes.
it was
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he like denounced the movie like a day before it came out on Twitter or something. And since then, I mean, I get that it's like a bad movie and it may not have been his fault, but him deciding to do that was probably a bad move for his career.
I think so too. It was bad all around. It wasn't gonna like save face because it's still his name's still on the movie, and it really was horrendous. I was actually giving it the benefit of the doubt. This was like 10 years ago, so I wasn't as cynical back then, and I was like, nah, it can't be as bad as everyone's making it out to be, and it was probably worse.
Oh yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, Platoon. If you ever get an opportunity to see that movie, you should, just for the sake of it. It's an abomination.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
Platoon.
I think I passed on it just because I hated all of the other Fantastic Four things. I think the Silver Surfer one is probably the last one I saw, and it really put me off. Not because I remember necessarily anything else about the film, but because I have this weird prejudice against this certain type of, I guess, like 80s comic book character, and a Silver Surfer is definitely part of that sort of like category of cringe, I think I'd call it. I can't conceive of a way of having a giant silver person on a surfboard in the 21st century and it not being embarrassing to look at. I just don't know how it could be done, man or woman. I'm not prejudiced in that regard. I just think it's a really old-fashioned and outdated idea of a character, but maybe I'm unduly racist against silver people. I don't know.
Is the Silver Surfer like sort of the most famous or most well-known Fantastic Four? Oh no, the most famous villain would be is it Doctor Doom?
Yeah, Doctor Doom.
Dr. Doom,
I would say for sure, and Galactus.
So why do you think they've gone with Silver Surfer for the villain in the first like Marvel version?
Well, Silver Surfer, like that's who you come across before Galactus, because he's the Herald of Galactus. So
right, okay, so possibly setting up something to happen later in the like maybe Avengers movie or whatever.
Yeah, and it's a big marquee name, and it whenever they do introduce Galactus, that's what's going to be on most people's minds. Like that's what's going to be looming.
I'm surprised that they haven't introduced Doom. Doom is a bigger name than Silver Surfer. Victor Von Doom's like everyone is waiting for that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but would it be too
surprised.
early? Like when you're introducing the Joker, you shouldn't do it too early.
When is the last time they introduced the Joker late and not early, dude?
Dark Knight was the second movie.
Yeah, but after that, he's been in everything.
I mean,
well,
Robert,
then it's like a Joker universe, basically.
Isn't the Joker going to be in the second Robert Pattinson movie?
No.
He was
No?
in the first one, anyways. He had the cameo at the
Yeah,
end.
he had a cameo,
A
but
horrible cameo.
It wasn't-
terrible.
I swear that was a
Terrible.
deleted scene. Not deleted scene, sorry, post-credit scene or something, because I saw
Oh,
the
no,
film in
there
the cinema
was-
and I missed it.
Yeah, there was a deleted scene, but he didn't have. But he was in the actual movie. Right at the end, he was talking to the Riddler while they were in cells together, or
Yeah.
well, adjacent cells anyway.
Right, I must have just blanked that from my mind.
You should, because it was terrible, and I was like, oh, fucking, absolutely unnecessary addition to this movie.
Yeah, but I mean, do you think that the backlash would be heavier if they had cast Doom as a woman instead of Silver Surfer?
Oh God, yes, that would be
Maybe.
fucking ridiculous.
Maybe that's
like,
why.
I don't know. At what
Margot
point?
Robbie as Doom.
Shit, I watched that.
Yeah, I'd probably watch that too. But
yeah.
yeah, that would be blasphemous to do that. That'd be wild.
Yeah, I'm kind of just waiting to see what Fantastic Four looks like in terms of the storyline, and I guess what type of story they're gonna approach. Is it gonna be an origin story? Because we've seen that time and time again. Like literally every single Fantastic Four movie has been an origin story, except for Rise of the Silver Surfer, pretty much. So I hope that they don't go the origin story route, but I don't know how they're gonna fit in. What's her name? Shaliba Ball. I don't know what the name is. The Silver Surfer.
Yeah, well, I would assume if they want to have a Fantastic Four that already existed in the MCU.
Yeah, you would have to
they-
do some kind of origin story, right? Because otherwise you would have to explain why they didn't already exist.
Right,
Ah,
but maybe
shit,
this
true.
is going to be like why they were gone or whatever. Kind of like how.
Could be.
Or like you could do it as simply as the opening shot of the movie. You're panning down over a city, and then little title card in the bottom left says it's Earth, Dimension C 617 Z plural alpha. I was like, well, the reason we haven't seen them before is because we're in a completely different universe, and this is just going to how we're going to join them mid-story in their universe, and their origin is effectively how they intersect with ours. Given that they have a multiverse now, this is the sort of cheap trick that they could pull, I think, without having to go for the full origin story route, whilst also explaining why they aren't present in any preceding adventure. Maybe.
I was
don't
thinking
know.
in Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange is clearly aware of who the Fantastic Four are, even though he's talking to Reed Richards of another universe. Because he says something like, "Didn't you guys?" It's some like really corny joke, but he said that
Really?
didn't you guys chart in the '60s or something? So he's clearly aware of them. So I was thinking maybe what'll happen is they, they're intergalactic travelers or whatever. So maybe they disappeared and got trapped in the 60s. They disappeared, got trapped in an alternate dimension or something. And they've been trying to get back to, the main MCU Earth ever since. And that's where we'll find them or something.
That could be an interesting, because obviously Captain America doesn't, well, I mean, I guess he kind of does, but Captain America doesn't really exist in the MCU anymore in any like meaningful way. So doing what you just said there would kind of allow them to do the whole like people out of time kind of thing, where they haven't been to Earth, like maybe they've been, I don't know, traveling through space for the last 50 years or something, and they come back and it's totally different post MCU.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's actually the route that they could go, because all the promotional material has been 60s Fantastic Four. There's nothing hinting to modern day. Plus it would I guess Disney doesn't even care at this point the amount of problems that it would bring if they just set them into the MCU in like today's timeline, because they fucked up with that already. But maybe Deadpool will have something to do with it as well, because Deadpool 3 is coming out before anyways, so they may have, I guess the future of the MCU would be in the hands of Deadpool 3 if they're trying to do all this time stuff. So I think it depends on the ending of that film. So maybe, I guess.
It sucks that so much importance has been put on that movie because it should just be allowed to be a fun Deadpool movie without having all the weight of what the trajectory of the
TVA.
entire MCU is going to be.
Yeah, it's because of the TVA stuff that they used to do time travel. If they had stuck with the first, is it the first? No, the second Deadpool movie, like Cable's time travel technology that doesn't have that much repercussions. If they had just stuck to that, that could be interesting. But nope, they had to shove in the TVA to make sure that it's Deadpool joining the MCU, which I think is horrible, because you're already you're basically building on an already broken foundation, which is
Yep.
just very,
Mhm.
very bad. And I don't even know how Deadpool 3 is going to succeed because the foundation is so broken. So even if Deadpool remains a good movie, all of the things tie back to Loki and the TVA and how messed up all of that was.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
they've just completely risen themselves into a world building corner, I guess, you know.
Like best case scenario, I think you have a Deadpool 3 that is very, very funny, but doesn't make a lick of sense.
Hmm.
And the question is going to be like, are they going to how much of like the TVA stuff are they going to explain? Because they've got to know that a lot of their audience will not
Yep.
have bothered watching Loki.
Yep.
And if that whole like I haven't seen
Mhm.
Loki, I don't know how it works at all. I have no idea. If they try and slow down Deadpool 3 to explain all of that, which I think they will probably need to do, I think that could it's not really going to feel like a Deadpool movie, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the MCU is fucked either way.
Mhm.
Fantastic Four, I don't really have any hype for it at all. I just think it's gonna be a movie again. That's pretty much it. And this Silver Surfer stuff, I don't even think it's something to get angry about because we know that they're gonna fuck up the movie anyways. So it's
Well,
just like,
even if it's an alternate universe Silver Surfer, it's just weird the intent, like the perceived intent behind it is to introduce a Silver Surfer that's of the opposite gender. Like that was the
yeah, that's
purpose.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
But if
And
you
it's
can't even
just
nail it, like that's the Andrew dipped.
oh, Andrew, he didn't like that
The
topic at
cringe was
all.
too much.
And chat always says kick Andrew, and the universe has done it for us, so we're fine.
Yeah, it's like what was I saying? It was the like the Fantastic Four stuff. I think it's gonna be interesting to see, but even though if they put in a female Silver Surfer, they're probably not gonna do her justice. So even fans of that female Silver Surfer will probably be angry. So you don't win. Like Disney
There's
doesn't
no
win if they
way.
fuck up.
That's what I was saying earlier. There's no way though this Silver Surfer even has fucking fans because it's the Silver Surfer that was in like one issue ever. Like,
Yeah,
there's this Silver Surfer. Like, what if you see a movement over the next year about a fucking female Silver Surfer? It's fake. It's completely.
yep.
It's
They did
inauthentic.
Gary brought it up, I think, on FNT on Friday. It's like loads of people who are suddenly flooding into like Wikipedia in order to pretend that they already knew that this version of the character existed.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you have to go to Wikipedia and quote tweet Wikipedia to prove that the character has a place in the universe, which you yourself have just looked up, it's probably because the character isn't the most well-known or the most popular version of that character. But they
Yep.
keep doing this, don't they? Don't they keep taking... Was it Kevin Feige or someone around Kevin Feige said, oh, the MCU could go on for decades at this point because we've got 60 years worth of source material that we can draw from. But every time they plunge into the source material, they tend to find something from the sort of the Disney ownership period of Marvel Comics. So something within like the last 5 years, it tends to be
Yeah, it's
with
always
like a version of the character which is really unpopular and it's had maybe 3 attempts to get off the ground, and all of those are bombed in comics. And then somehow they find their way into the major theatrical productions. Like Ms. Marvel's a good example of that. You do have 60 years worth of source material to choose from. That is absolutely correct. Now, how about you go back and you choose something good from the 60 years worth of source material that you have, rather than finding the most obscure things which suit whatever it is you need to do? Maybe it's cheaper to do it this way. Maybe it helps them tick boxes. There are, I'm sure, a number of overlapping motives in this. But it's, if you're struggling to get your cinematic universe the love that it used to have, maybe finding much loved stories and just faithfully adapting those would be a good place to start. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you just look at Google Trends, and you just search in, Silver Surfer or Shalabal. You just see the spike, the massive spike, and then you'll probably see a huge spike in in a couple of months before the movie comes out, and they'll just say, "Oh yeah, 10 things you didn't know about Silver Surfer." Those type of YouTube videos. Get a
Oh,
ton of
yeah.
those, and then everyone will get their info from that, and that'll be it. Then you'll
Yeah.
have like pseudo comic book warriors in the streets saying, "Yeah, they nailed the character, dude. What do you think?" It's like, come on, man, Jesus, go watch Captain Marvel 100 times again. That's it. I don't know. Yeah, we need the poo multiverse to save us. That's what's gonna save us. The poo multiverse, dude.
Wait,
oh my god.
as in the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey thing, or are you talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
something totally different? Jesus Christ. Did you guys see this might be a really stupid question, but did you guys see the first one or not?
I
Yes.
started it and I couldn't do it.
That
I
is
shut it
exactly
off.
the same as me.
Yeah.
I never turn off movies. The number of movies I haven't finished, I could probably count on one hand.
Same.
And it was so amateurish that I thought that I genuinely thought that me, with no experience in that field, could have done a better job if you gave me a camera. It was that
Oh.
amateurish.
For
Yeah.
sure. I think
Um,
so too.
I also turned off Rebel Moon.
Oh,
I wish
no.
I turned off Rebel Moon.
So do
Well,
I.
no,
It was-
that's what sucks. I have to go back and fucking watch it because part 2 comes out this month.
I'm not sure what's worse there because like you're going through it for the first time, whereas I'm going to have to watch it again. So like, isn't that worse? Like to relive the complete nothingness that is Rebel Moon before Part 2 comes out, and then to review it because I deliberately held off when Rebel Moon Part 1 came out. So I can start scripting this now, but there's so little in it. I think I'll just wait till Part 2 comes out and I'll leave the script. But that does mean I now have to script the entirety of the review for Part 1 as well, which is just. But no, I didn't switch that off. I think the last film I switched off without finishing was Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. I think.
Oh yeah. I
Which sets
remember.
the bar. That's where the bar is set. And for comparison's sake, I did finish Godzilla X Kong.
I was
so
just
it's
gonna
better than
say
that.
you finished that.
I did finish that. Finished. What else have I seen recently that wasn't very? Oh, The First Omen. I had to watch that for a Capital Opinion stream. That's an interesting movie. But yeah, Transformers.
good?
No.
Wait, the
like-
first Omen or
Wait, wait.
the first movie from 1970?
No, The First Omen, so the prequel to the first.
Oh,
the
okay,
original
okay.
Omen is a good film. It's a good film. I enjoy that film. But The First Omen, it's intriguing and it's quite well shot and the setting's lovely. And then you get to their plan, and it's absolutely insane.
Hmm.
So
Oh, shit. I'm gonna go watch it on Thursday too. So
Yeah,
It's
uninspired.
great.
You'll have to tell me what you
but
think
it's
as
such a.
horror
I really
fan.
want to spoil it now
Mhm.
because it's such a crazy
Don't
plan.
spoil it because
No.
I want to.
Yeah, I'm gonna
don't
watch
spoil
it.
for me.
Okay.
I went to
Okay,
watch
okay.
Immaculate. Immaculate was.
Oh, don't
Interesting.
spoil that for me either. I'm gonna go.
No,
see
don't
that.
worry. I'll
What are
just
we
say that
spoiling?
it's not one of those like non-horror. Immaculate, the Sydney Sweeney.
We
one.
are not spoiling either of those movies, though I am told that they are functionally speaking the same film. Apparently, from someone whose Capital Opinions has seen both, and apparently they are basically the same movie, just
Really?
a slight difference. Yeah, yeah, I can't reveal it without spoiling it. Apparently, they are basically the same, like disconcertingly similar, plot for plot, kind of comparison wise.
I haven't seen the trailer for The First Omen. I don't know anything about the plot. I'm just going in blind completely.
I didn't know
yeah,
it existed either. No, until I was asked to watch it, I had no idea it was out.
yeah.
I've not
Vex
seen
didn't
any of
even
them.
know that it existed until I told her that they were making an Omen prequel. So, I don't know. No,
I was busy
marketing, I
watching
guess.
fucking WrestleMania all weekend.
Amen, bro.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
waiting
yeah.
for all the old heads to pop back on the screen, dude.
Yo, Undertaker was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't he like 80 now? How is he still
Oh
standing
yeah.
up?
No, he was just like cameo appearance.
Yeah.
But it was
In a wheelchair.
he was standing on his two bow legs. Leave him alone.
But yeah, you see more boobs, more Sydney Sweeney boobs in Immaculate than you do in Madame Web. 100%.
Oh wait.
I do-
Oh, against Madam Web. Yeah.
Well, probably in anything else except for Euphoria. Yeah, they really emphasize on Sydney Sweeney's. I mean, I really wonder who had the idea of just having Sydney Sweeney wear a white gown and take a bath. That was it. Done. That's the
Probably every person on the set.
Peak.
yeah, probably.
It probably is a good way. Like you could take a lesson from this and the sort of the reaction against the female Silver Surfer thing. If you put Sydney Sweeney in skin tight silver lycra, I'm pretty sure most of the reaction would go in favor of that movie because lots of people are not going to go and see that film and start complaining about the poor writing quality that I don't doubt the film will display. As long as there's something nice to look at, they'll be quite happy with it, I would have thought. But they've decided not to do that. So, all power to them.
Yeah,
Has the reaction been broadly negative? I haven't paid attention.
I've not paid much. I mean, I've only sort of caught it secondhand, having like from other streams where it's been mentioned. I get the impression the reaction from people who are paying attention, the reaction has been negative, but I don't get the sense that it's actually got much wider attention anyway outside of like YouTube film circles. I've not heard any normal, sensible people talking about the Fantastic Four at all with anticipation or trepidation. So yeah, it might just be a usual suspects thing, or it might be that nobody gives a damn. Who knows?
I think no one gives a damn in terms of mainstream people until they see the trailer of the Fantastic Four, because they probably just look at the promotional posters that they show, and that's it. That's the extent of their interest for now, until there's an actual trailer that's there. That's how most people are. I ask my sister, who's a normie. My sister doesn't even know that they're making a Fantastic Four movie. She's just like, I'll see it when the trailer drops, probably in like 2 years.
It does.
So-
It bears repeating as well. Like, even 6, 7, 8, let's say 10 years ago. 10 years ago, the idea that like the rumors of a Fantastic Four movie would be met with complete apathy would be unimaginable. Same thing with the X-Men. Like the idea that you're bringing the X-Men into the MCU, the pace of that decline, not just in terms of like the quality of the movies, but in terms of people's general acceptance now that these films are dog shit and nobody really gives a damn, is astonishing. Like they have completely torched this incredibly lucrative and much loved thing in such a short period of time, to the point now where some of the most popular characters could be brought back and people would just shrug. There was actually an interview, I think, was it IGN earlier today? Robert Downey Jr. saying that he's not opposed to playing Tony Stark again.
Of course.
And I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we've reached the point now where that could be announced and people would be like,
you know why he got his Oscar, so of course he's saying that now. Like
That's
he's good
true,
now.
yeah,
Like he feels validated, and he's like, oh yeah, I'll just do whatever for fun now.
He got the
Plus, he
W. He
probably
can
get
do
a-
whatever now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he got
dude.
his post MCU.
Imagine
W.
the paycheck, dude. Paycheck must be huge now that he's an Oscar
Yeah.
winner too.
Yeah,
The paycheck was already huge in the Avengers movies because he gets the biggest cut of the biggest cut of the box office in terms of percentage because his wife produces all the movies as well. So yeah, dude is making bank.
I heard James Cameron once say, like, in Hollywood, the Academy Award is considered, the pinnacle of your profession. So, I'm sure in Robert Downey Jr.'s eyes, it's probably similar in that ballpark. He's in his eyes probably reached the pinnacle, and now everything's just gravy. So why not return to the MCU and make like $100 million more fucking dollars?
Oh yeah. Just wait till he does another Dr. Dolittle sequel out of nowhere.
Wasn't that the first movie he did after Endgame?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the post
amazing.
Endgame. Oh,
And then it failed like horribly, which basically just goes to show you that it's not just like you can't really sell a movie anymore on it's got X actor in it. The other example of that was the Tom Cruise Mummy movie, which again failed horribly. Yeah, that existed, didn't it?
Yeah, I remember now.
It's the combination of Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man is what was selling those movies, not just the fact that it was Robert Downey Jr.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, there were plans for the what were they going to call the cinematic universe stemming from the Tom Cruise Mummy film? It wasn't
Dark Universe.
Dark Universe. That was it.
Yeah.
Yes, that came and went very, very quickly, didn't it?
It came and went twice, actually.
Yeah.
It was supposed to start with Dracula Untold in 2014, if I believe.
Yeah.
Dracula Untold flopped, and then they tried to reboot it again with The Mummy, which flopped. And then The Invisible Man came out, and that was actually a great movie in 2020.
That's a fantastic movie, yeah.
And so they're considering that to be the starting point of the next Dark Universe. And I think
Are you serious?
Frankenstein. Yeah, I think Frankenstein. No, Leigh Whannell. He's making. No, it's Wolfman. Leigh Whannell is making Wolfman. It's coming out this year, actually. Normally,
But are they going for the whole interconnected multiversal type thing, or are they just giving Leigh Whannell a bunch of monster movies?
Normally, they said that they want they're giving him stuff to do on his own, but they're marketing it as part of the I guess the Dark Universe, the rebrand, because it's the only thing that's successful that they've made for the Dark
How do you
Universe.
even turn that
That's
into a
amazing.
shared universe? Like Dracula X Kong. No, that's the wrong one.
Frankenstein. Frankenstein. I need you to distract Kang.
Well, it'll probably lead up to like a Van Helsing movie, the same way they did
Yeah.
the original Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman. You had everyone in that. You had Frankenstein. You had Dracula. Yeah,
It
they could
is.
probably
That's
do
such a
That
something.
was also a
strange movie.
terrible movie.
It's a
Yeah.
terrible but enjoyable.
It's so
movie.
much fun though. It's bad in a 2004 way, not
Yes.
a 2024
Yeah,
way.
it's very of its time.
Exactly.
It's rewatchable, man. I'd love rewatching it. It's so good.
I remember the CGI was bad 20 years ago.
Oh yeah, the CGI is terrible, and
Mhm.
I think I believe I'll double check this just to make sure, but I believe the budget was actually more than each Lord of the Rings movie.
Was it
Oh,
really?
I'm sure. Yeah. Well, each
What?
Lord of the Rings they somehow pulled out for like $100 million a piece.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, obviously, they would,
Amazing.
with Lord of the Rings, they would have been able to, of course, reuse things like costumes and sets
Yeah.
and all of that. So they would have saved a little bit of money. But yeah, so each Lord of the Rings film had a budget of about 100 million. Van Helsing had a budget of $160 million.
Oh my god, that's
And
amazing.
who do you have in that film that's like earning like megabucks? I mean,
You got
Hugh
Kate
Jackman,
Beckinsale.
Kate
Kate
Beckinsale.
Beckinsale, megabucks. I mean, she
No,
was
absolutely not.
well,
But
exactly.
those are the
Yeah,
only recognizable people I can think of.
I mean,
Yeah,
David Wenham was in it, but again, not megabucks.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
Faramir was like the Q of that universe, wasn't he? He's like the technologically advanced monk who gives Van Helsing like repeater crossbows with silver bolts and holy water grenades. Yeah. Oh god, I remember so much of this film now. I thought I'd forgotten it all.
It's
What
so
a
much
special
fun.
movie!
You
It
can't
really
forget
is.
it. It's so much fun.
I think it has the best werewolf transformation ever in that I've personally seen. In terms of CGI werewolf transformation, in terms of practical effects, I think that still goes to American Werewolf in London. But in
I was
terms of
gonna say, yeah.
CGI werewolf transformations, I think Van Helsing takes the cake because he literally rips his flesh off and is just defying gravity, climbing on the walls and stuff while he transforms. It's so cool to look at, but it's still stupid because how the fuck can a werewolf just defy gravity for some reason?
Yeah.
But yeah,
I remember some of the werewolf stuff in the Underworld movies not being
Magic.
too bad
Mhm.
visually. Like the Underworld movies obviously aren't great, but you know, they kind of handled the werewolf stuff pretty well as far as I remember.
Yeah, the lichens, that's what they used to call
Yes.
them in
Yeah.
the Underworld movies. I like the Underworld movies. Well, Kate Beckinsale in leather. So what's not to like?
Yeah.
Honestly.
Ah.
I remember very little about them. I remember them fixing in my mind that both Bill Nye and Charles Dance are really good and have this habit of appearing in terrible, terrible films.
True.
Charles Dance in particular. Actually, Charles Dance is in the first Omen very briefly, and so is Bill Nye. Come to that, which both further solidifies their reputation for being in not particularly good movies. But
He's
besides
in Godzilla King of
them,
the Monsters as well.
oh
Charles
my
Dance.
god, he is. Yeah, he's the eco-terrorist guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, I
Who?
remember
Charles
so little
Dance?
of that movie. Yeah, Charles Dance is
Yeah.
Godzilla versus... No, not
No,
Godzilla,
Godzilla
versus
King of the Monsters.
Godzilla King of the
Godzilla
Monsters.
versus
That's the
Charles
one.
Dance.
King of the Monsters.
I would back Charles Dance in that particular one.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see the trajectory of it. Plus, Van Helsing came out at the same time as LXG, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
It's like those back-to-back movies that people talk about because they came out in the same period, and that one completely ended Sean Connery's career.
I was going to say, it's so successful that Sean Connery retired. So it's not like not the ringing endorsement that the film probably hoped it would be. I remember really loving the idea of that movie, and then the execution is just such a disappointment. I quite like the idea of crossovers generally when you've got this really wonderful cast of fantasy characters. Who doesn't want to see Van Helsing and Dorian Gray in the same movie? That's a pretty cool idea. And then the way they do it is maybe
Plus,
not.
the CGI was pretty top of the line for the back then in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. But yeah, that's where a lot of the budget went. So
Yeah.
it was no one allocated the budget to the writers, and you could tell. That's the worst part.
It just goes to show, really, doesn't it? For reasons that have nothing to do with any film that might be or might not be out at the moment, that just having your favorite monsters in a thing doesn't make it a good thing.
Something
But
Godzilla.
Platoon, he threw the baby across the ravine or whatever.
That was, to be fair, absolutely
It was
hilarious.
funny.
Yes, it was a very funny movie.
And the fact that they had like weird ice anti-Godzilla was so weird too. It's just like, all right, cool, fuck it. Let's just do whatever we can.
It was Godzilla's type match.
Yeah.
Wait, they have an
basically.
anti-Godzilla where he's made of ice for some reason.
Basically,
yeah. What's the thing's name? I kept calling it Godzuki. It's not Godzuki because it's
Say
just,
Lugia.
Lugia. Yeah, or no, the actual name is It's like Shiba or something. Shiba Inu. No, Shuga.
Shuga.
It's got an S and an H in it. Is what I'm getting from this. And it's an ice creature that brought about the last ice age that we learn by way of exposition in the film, as one of the main characters just reads ancient runes about the plot. So it's like the anti-Godzilla, I suppose.
Yep.
And then it comes on side, and the basic plot premise. I don't know why we're talking about this, but we spent all of an episode covering this, and we're still talking about it.
Awooga.
It's kept under control by the evil gorilla monster who has like a magical crystal that causes it pain, which he inexplicably puts on the end of his primary weapon. So of course he loses it, and then the anti-Godzilla turns good. It's shit. Don't bother with it.
I don't think I need to watch this movie.
No, you definitely don't. It's completely
good.
pointless. All
Dude,
you'll do
the
is
thing
save
is-
yourself a huge amount of hate being piled in your comment section, as Cynic can probably attest. And as I will find out at some point this week when my video comes out, I'm really looking forward to the death threats. I think it'll be really good fun.
3,000 comments and going strong.
Nice.
Yeah, sorry, I came back at the tail end, so I didn't know if we moved on to another topic or not.
Yeah,
We're just being
yeah.
nostalgic about bad early 2000s films, which are still so much better than bad 2024 films. And mind you, I will say, as by way of qualification, I saw for the first ever time only a little bit of not Knight Rider. Is it Ghost Rider, the one with Nicolas Cage as the guy with the fiery
Yes.
skull?
Season 2 of them, by the way.
No,
Yeah,
Right.
it got
really?
a sequel. It got a sequel.
How?
Idris Elba is in the sequel as
Yeah,
well.
but isn't it kind of like a reboot, a
Amen.
soft reboot?
I don't
It's like
think so. I think it's I mean, I watched them both like back to back a little while ago. I felt very bad that day. Or maybe I felt
Yeah.
very good that day, and I wanted to sort of bring myself down.
Right.
Yeah, and from memory, they are in continuity, and from memory, they're just as bad as each other. I have no idea how there were two of them.
But the
I
second one
remember
has,
in the trailer of the second one, he pisses fire.
Yeah,
And
that's
that
what
was
I was
like the
about to
big
say.
selling point.
At least he pisses fire, dude. It's
Hey, at
okay.
least
And there's
he pisses fire.
there's the horse Ghost Rider as well, the cowboy Ghost Rider. He's in
Yeah.
it for like 1 minute. That's it. It's like, all right, cool. That's
I
all they
still think
needed.
the funniest scene in those movies is the first time he transforms into Ghost Rider. If you haven't seen the movies, just look it up on
It's
YouTube.
so
It is
absurd.
hilarious.
Oh
It's
my
the
God,
most
yeah.
Nicolas Cage thing ever, but where he's turning into like a CGI skull that's on fire. It's
Yeah.
hilarious.
It's just Nicolas Cage shouting at the camera.
Yeah, basically. And then they,
Yeah, imagine
I
being
don't
on
know.
set that day.
Yeah.
It's peak.
Yeah, the Ghost Rider
Oh.
movies are dumb fun. Second one has Idris Elba for
Movies
some
of all
reason
time.
because Idris Elba wasn't big at the time, and he was actually like one of the big roles too. But yeah,
I think I lasted probably 10 minutes of. I didn't even start it at the beginning. It just came on the television somehow. I think like something I'd been watching stopped and it auto switched over to the channel, and I had no idea what it was. It was just this fiery skull on a motorbike. I was like, "What the fuck is happening?" And it was so
Sounds like Nicolas Cage.
yeah. It's like I couldn't even tell it was Nicolas Cage, but it looked like a Nicolas Cage style film. But it was so like bizarrely and proudly awful that it was kind of mesmerizing. So I did sit with it for a good 10 minutes before I thought, "What am I doing with my life? I have literally anything else I could be doing." So I went and did something else.
dude, you should have sat through it. The first
you
Ghost
should
Rider is okay. It's an experience. It's a very interesting experience.
Yeah, he wanted to be in those movies too. Ghost Rider is his favorite superhero.
Yes,
Yep.
Yeah.
I do remember hearing that.
Yeah.
You could tell too. Like I remember him riding beside. He was on his motorcycle, and this was like right before he becomes Ghost Rider in the movie, and he just looked like he was having a blast.
yeah.
Like, you
he's
could tell
doing
he was
the
just psyched to
Daredevil
be in this
stuff.
fucking movie.
Yeah.
Did any of you guys see The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent?
Yes.
I love that movie because
I loved
did
it,
not.
dude.
Yeah.
It was great.
I
Yeah.
showed it.
Go ahead.
I showed it to a friend who doesn't really like Nicolas Cage movies, and even he was like, "Okay, that was really good." Like the way that it does, like I guess, kind of meta comedy on the nature of
Mhm.
storytelling. It's so well done.
Oh yeah, I agree. I went to watch it at the cinema, and there were 5 people, including me and my dad, so 3 other people. And I was this was opening night, and I was laughing my ass off so hard that everyone else was just looking at me in the theater. And I guess that's my fault for going to watch a comedy movie in a French cinema. So they probably didn't understand the humor as much as me. I just kept laughing my ass off, dude. It was one of the best comedic experiences that I've had in the cinema. It was just it's a really good movie, and Nicolas Cage was giving it his all.
Yes.
And now I guess he's still continuing his renaissance with the last movie he made was Dream Scenario, if I remember correctly, which has gotten some good reviews. I personally haven't seen it, And then there's the new one that he has, the monster horror movie that's coming out this year, Arcadium. Wait, I have to look it up.
I've not heard
yeah.
of that. No.
Oh, the trailer came out recently. It's already it premiered at South by Southwest, so the movie's already done, but they just need to market it and ship it out. But it looks pretty good. It's been getting good reviews as well. It's called Arcadian. Yeah, it's coming out this year.
Is this man having a career renaissance or what?
Oh yeah, dude, Nicolas Cage has always been here. He's never left.
Well, I think his career wouldn't be in the shitter if he hadn't have spent all of his money and then had to take like every acting gig he could.
Yes,
like because it did go in the shitter for a while, but I think it was just like it was inflicted outside of work. Like he just took anything and everything. If he had hung on to his money, he could have been more a little more stingy about what he was
more
picking
discerning.
For
He could
a
have
little
not
more
started
discerning,
in-
let's say.
Yes. That's the polite way of putting it.
Yeah.
The last movie I think I saw him in was it's like off-brand Five Nights at Freddy's. It's
Willy's Wonderland.
That's the one, Willy's Wonderland. It's like the premise is that he never speaks in the entire movie. And he's
They
this
couldn't
like,
afford him. That's why, actually.
no,
That's the real
and
story.
he never speaks. He just drinks. It's like Mountain Dew or something like that. He just drinks Mountain Dew. He's a drifter, and his car it breaks down, and then to earn the repair work, he has to go and be a security guard in this abandoned like kids play place where the monster animatronic things come alive and one at a time try and kill him, and then he just beats the shit out of them and then goes back to drinking Mountain Dew and playing ping pong. And then some kids outside try and burn it. It's such a weird film. I'm not even sure if it's a bad film. It's just really bizarre. He doesn't speak, but he does give it absolutely everything. He's by far the best part of the movie.
Well, he couldn't speak because they couldn't afford to pay him for dialogue. That's the actual story behind it.
Is that the actual reason?
Really?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
You can have my body, but you can't have my mouth.
He wanted to do it. They couldn't
can't
pay
have
him.
my voice.
So
Well, Christopher
like,
Lee did that. Didn't he quite famously refuse to speak the lines in one of his Dracula films because he read them and thought they were so shit that he just refused to speak them, so he just hissed all the way through the film.
probably.
That's amazing.
That's something Christopher Lee would do. I could see that. But yeah, I mean, I think Willy's Wonderland would have been a good movie if there weren't so many quick cuts during the fights, because those were nauseating for me. I don't know if you remember anything more about the movie Platoon.
I just remember him being really into playing ping pong.
Oh yeah.
Well, not ping pong. What was the game he was playing? No, it was like some
pinball.
arcade thing. Pinball. That's the one I was thinking of. Don't know where ping pong. You need another player for ping pong. I just remember him sort of dancing while playing it and drinking Mountain Dew. I just think it's such a weird performance, but it's kind of engaging. I quite like it. Credit to you for putting the work in, Nicolas Cage. You are a treasure. We don't deserve you.
Oh yeah, he is. I think Nicolas Cage. Even he said it. He said that even though he had to do all these weird roles that he didn't want to, he still gave every single ounce of his heart into his performances, which is why people really appreciate him, because he wasn't phoning anything in.
Yeah.
He had so Mandy was kind of the big break that relaunched his career in 2016. It also put Panos Cosmatos on the map, which is George Cosmatos' son, the director of, I think it's Rambo 2. I have to look this up. But yeah, Mandy put him on the map, and Mandy's a fantastic film. I don't know if you've seen it, Platoon.
I don't think so. No.
It's a
mind trip of a movie. Like, yeah.
Is that in a good way, like
Well, as in
2001, or is it in a bad way, like it just makes no sense?
When I say that, I don't mean that like it's like a mind fuck in the way that it's complex and it takes a lot to kind of maybe understand what's going on. I mean that it's like what I imagine having a very, very bad acid trip would be.
Yes.
Visually, it is kind of unlike anything that I've ever seen before. But yeah, it's been a little while since I've seen it. I don't exactly remember the plot, but it definitely leaves an impression when you watch it. But you need to be in a certain mood to watch that kind of film.
Okay.
But then on top of all of that, there is a scene though where there's a fight where the two guys are like holding chainsaws. They have a chainsaw sword fight, which is it's the most Nicolas Cage thing ever at times, but it's also a trippy as hell movie.
Yeah, you left out the fact that the chainsaw that Nicolas Cage is fighting with is normal sized, and his opponent has like a 2 meter long chainsaw.
That's right. Yes, it's like some
just-
insane. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly,
I-
Platoon, Mandy is a good movie. You would like it.
I have added it onto my list of things that I need to watch. I do like that Nicolas Cage has become his own genre as well. It's just like it's is it bad? Is it good? No, it's Nicolas Cage. It's somewhere. It's not really on the usual sort of spectrum of critical analysis at this point.
Yeah, his last movie kind of tanked before Dream Scenario. It was the John Woo, John Woo movie with the dude that played Rick Flag in Suicide Squad. I forget
Joel
his
Kinnaman?
name. Yeah, Joel
Silent
Kinnaman.
Night?
Was it?
Was
No,
it
no.
the Silent Night movie.
No, I don't think it was Silent Night. No, I think I'm confusing it with something. It's late. No, something with the devil or something like that.
Sympathy for the Devil.
There he is. Sympathy for the Devil. Thank you. Yeah, that kind of flopped. But yeah, he's still making good movies. Nicolas Cage is his own man. I think he can sell a movie.
I was just thinking that it's funny. Like one of the few things that would make me kind of excited to go back and see another Marvel film is if they cast Nicolas Cage in a big role. Like genuinely, I would find that really entertaining. I might go and watch it and like the movie. Not in the sort of let's give him a CGI cameo as Superman in the Flash kind of way, but as a let's cast Nicolas Cage as Galactus kind of way. Like put him in like a really big role. That would be funny.
You say that because I'm not too familiar with the comics. Like, is Ghost Rider a Marvel property or a DC property?
No, it's Marvel.
Oh, well, then there you go. Have Nicolas Cage back as Ghost Rider. That's your winner right there. Introduce him in the Deadpool film.
Having seen 10 minutes of that movie, I think I'd rather he plays something else, just because I think he deserves a second chance at the Marvel thing, is what I'm saying. I don't think we should necessarily doom him to play another version of that, whatever that was.
Come on, you know he'd enjoy it though.
Recast.
Get him to do the
Kang.
eyebrow raise emoji again, and then turn into Skull.
Oh,
that was
yeah.
the funniest part.
Dude, just recast Kang as Nicolas Cage. Everyone would be happy.
Oh my god!
I think he could pull it off. He could pull off a mean Kang. That would be good.
I think either way it would be memorable.
True.
Good or bad.
True. He wouldn't.
Recast Kang. Get Sterling K. Brown, my goat, who did Angstrom and Invincible. Get him. He is incredible.
Yeah, I like Sterling K. Brown. I think he's a good actor.
Isn't Nicolas Cage divorced 5 times, I think it is? So, like, unlike Kang proper, he actually knows how to break up with women properly. So there is that to be said for him. Maybe he would be good in the role.
Have they actually said what they're doing with Kang?
Nope.
I don't think so. No, he's been de-emphasized. The last I read, and it may have been updated since then. The last I read it was a few months ago when they were removing the name. It was if they've removed the Kang dynasty from the title of one of the movies, and they're de-emphasizing him in any film that he was due to appear in. He's now either not going to appear in, or it'll be a much reduced role, or something like that. Which is always a bad sign, I think, for your planning generally. If it's so easy to remove your biggest villain from your plans, then you probably hadn't written him into your script tightly enough. Which in this case has worked out quite well, but is also indicative of why nothing else seems to be working out quite well.
Didn't they replace the writers for those 2 movies too?
Maybe. Who was attached? I can't remember who was attached originally.
Loki dude, right?
Right, yeah. The
Michael Waldron.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Dr.
really?
Yes. Yeah.
We're back, boys.
We are so back.
We're back.
Yeah, he was tasked with writing the Avengers movies, dude. Can you imagine? The dude can't even juggle a single movie, and he's gonna write Avengers where he has to juggle multiple characters and story arcs. It's like, dude, you're way out of your league, man.
Yeah, like they've actually got a video somewhere in the back of my mind with like a controversial title, like something like "How Rick and Morty Killed Marvel," just because. Like, if you look at like the writers that were once attached to that show, coinciding with it, branching out into this massive multiversal comedy where there aren't really any stakes, and that's sort of the point of it. And it works because it's not completely serialized, and nothing necessarily has to connect to anything else. You can just make shit up as you go. And then they think, well, that's a really brilliant idea, and it's really popular. So we'll take Jeff Loveness and we'll take Michael Waldron, and we'll just put them and say, do the same thing, but with Marvel. because it's the same Marvel, Rick and Morty. It's the same basic idea, right? Multiverses all function in exactly the same way. You don't need connections between things. And so they put these people in charge, and what they know how to do is funny visuals and sight gags and zany kind of meta stuff, and exploiting the weirdness of multiverses. But they have no idea how to actually tie these things together into a cohesive, like multi-episode spanning storyline. So as much as I love both Rick and Morty early seasons and early Marvel, the confluence of both has made it's gone downhill, and it's largely their fault. Is a working theory.
Yeah, I hate Rick and Morty, man. I liked season 1. That was pretty much it.
1 to 3 is good. Anything after 3 is, I mean, even 3 starts sort of going a bit downhill, I'd say, but like anything after that is, yeah.
I remember 4 having its moments, but yeah. Sorry, what? I interrupted someone.
Andrew, what were you saying, dog?
Oh, I was just going to ask, isn't one of the writers for She-Hulk one of the writers for Rick and Morty as well?
She did.
The main one.
Is it Jessica Chow, I want to say her name is, or Gao?
Yes.
She did the Pickle Rick episode, I think it was, which was, really well received. That's the one. One really funny gag in that episode, which is the thing. Everyone remembers that, and then there's the rest of it, which nobody seems to remember.
Yeah, people just remember Pickle Rick and then Szechuan sauce. That's pretty much it. But Szechuan sauce, people remember it. Yeah, because of McDonald's. Went to harass every single McDonald's worker in the country. It's like, oh god. God. The influence of Rick and Morty, ladies and gentlemen. Season 7 starts getting better, someone says in the chat. Dude. No, I don't know. Dude. I'm not sitting through like season 4, 5, 6 just for 7 to get good.
I've seen season 7 and I don't remember a single episode of it, so there is that to be said.
Yeah. Oh man. The state
I'd much rather watch Smiling Friends.
Yeah.
Season 1 of Smiling Friends was fantastic. I haven't seen season 2.
It's for April Fools, they released the entirety of season 1, but they made everyone into puppets. Like,
wait, what?
It's so funny. They just shot everything again.
That's quite a lot of effort.
Yeah, they just made them puppets.
Amazing.
Wow.
That's really cool.
Gotta admire the dedication to the bit.
Any other thoughts though on any of the other shit before?
We had a topic.
We did have a topic.
We were talking. What was the topic?
Well, there was.
We were speaking.
Yeah, it was branching off from there's the Disney thingy. What's it called? Proxy fight. Silver Surfer. All of that surf person. Yeah.
That was over. That was almost an hour ago.
There was actually, yeah. But all of those announcements came after, so that you had the big Disney proxy thing, which was a bit of a damn squib in the end because Iger and his cronies win. There's a blowout. They did outspend the opposition, Nelson Peltz's faction, by 2-1, but that's what you'd expect. $14 million, I think they spent on regaining all of their seats, and then after they finally get that back, they declare that by the way, we're doing the gender swapping Silver Surfer thing. Also, we're delaying the Mandalorian and Grogu, I think, has been pushed back till 2026, which is tragic, as
we win.
Sure we all agree. Yeah, we've got to wait another few years for that. There was something else that got delayed, and I can't remember what it was, which means it probably wasn't important.
Let me look it up.
The other Star Wars movie, like, was the Dawn of the Jedi movie delayed a bit? I know they announced
I don't know if that ever had a set release date, did it?
I don't know. All I remember is one of the writers for Andor, specifically the writer that did One Way Out, is now going to be a writer on the Dawn of the Jedi movie, which gives me some hope. Not much, but there's some hope.
Yeah, wait till they force him to write himself into a corner and just produce trash. That'll be the worst part too. Andor delayed. I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah, but I know the
Andor's been delayed, but it's never officially been announced. It's just not on the 2024 release schedule.
We know that it's happening.
It is delayed. But, it's season 2, Andor. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
It's confirmed, at least. It's in the tank. Yeah.
Eek will be back.
I keep forgetting about the Acolyte until someone says this.
No, don't delay that. I need to make money. Hold on. Don't delay it. Hold on.
Oh, the Acolyte's coming. I saw some new stuff today.
Is that this month or next month? think it's-
I have no idea.
That
I think it's next
is-
month.
Oh wow, so soon?
Oh, it's
Really?
that. Wow, I
Oh,
thought it was
maybe-
going to be later in the year.
It might be June.
Somewhere next
I've now. There's so much absolutely ridiculous nonsense coming out, and I'm starting to get the timeline confused. Obviously, we've got
June
Rebel Moon
4th.
Well,
Part
there's Rebel
2,
Moon.
June
there's-
4th.
Velma Season 2, obviously. We've got
Yeah,
lots of
boy.
that.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, boy. We're back.
Yeah, the Acolyte. I'm sure there's another one that I have forgotten, which is also coming out around this time. The Fallout show, I think, is coming up quite soon. House of the Dragon, which is the one thing I'm genuinely looking forward to, is also coming up this summer. So that we've got a good few months of. Well, I was going to say it's a mixed bag. It's not. There's a few months in which there's one thing that's almost certain to be very good, House of the Dragon, and then there's a lot of stuff that's probably going to be terrible, which is great if you need to make money on YouTube, but bad if you want to, watch good things.
Yeah.
Might be jumping a little bit too far ahead, but in November we got Arcane season 2, unless that gets
Yeah, boy.
And
Really
I
happy
mean,
for that.
I hope it's going to be good, but I am so worried because there are so many ways that they could very easily, we're talking in like the first 5 minutes of season 2, just undermine so much of what happened at the end of season 1. And I mean, if season 1 wasn't as good as it was, then I would be like, yeah, there's no way they can pull this off. But they could. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they could do it.
Do you did they say anything about writing it before? Like, did they say that they'd already written season 2 before producing season 1, or did they start writing season 2 after season 1 was finished and aired already?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know definitively. I mean, I know that a lot of the stories that they tell that are character based, like relating to the various character arcs broadly, are taken from lore that already exists from the games. So in that sense, I guess the overall broader bullet points may have already existed. Whether they knew kind of in detail what season 2 was going to be before they, while they were making season 1, I have no idea. I don't know.
I would be safer if they said that they had written season 2 like at the same time as season 1, because at least then it would have been fine. But I don't know if they had just a couple of months. We've already seen it in other shows, big shows, where they only had a couple of months to turn around and make an entire second season, and second season just tanks because the writing wasn't on par. So I don't know. I think I have faith. I'm not sure that the animation will be as competent as season 1, though. That's, I think, 100% guaranteed.
They've given themselves a long time to work on it, though, haven't they? I mean, my concern with that sort of thing is usually same thing with it applies with Andor as well. Like, we've had a couple of these shows which have sort of come out of nowhere. No one was particularly expecting them or looking forward to them, and I think that also applies to the studios, which basically say, well, okay, fine, that we haven't got much to lose on this front. Just do your own thing, and because they don't have a huge amount of attention from the studios, there's not a huge amount by way of interference that goes in, and so you get these two very, very cohesive and tightly written things without a huge amount of obvious intrusion by studios interfering in plot and messaging and all the rest of that stuff. And that's what allows these 2 first seasons to be really good. But now they've been acknowledged as being very good. And in particular, in Arcane's case, has made quite a lot of money. Whether they will take a much closer eye on season 2 because they've got much more invested in it at this point, and whether that will be the thing that maybe potentially drags it down.
That's a very good point, actually.
Yeah, it's interesting because like the way Arcane is produced, it's produced through Riot, who is a massive game studio, and with season 1 they were like, they didn't care, but they wanted it to be of quality in terms of storytelling. Like, the reason it almost got scrapped, Arcane, like season 2 almost got scrapped, was because it wasn't up to par with like storytelling. The people at the top were like, yeah, this isn't good. So they went back to the drawing board. So that's gives me a little faith that like there's some quality assurance. Also, Riot Games as a whole has a lot of quality assurance that they do with their video games.
They seem pretty protective of their IP.
Yes. And in terms of animation, I actually think it's going to be like probably way better. Only because a lot of the animators and the producers have said like they're pushing like every fight scene and every musical sort of scene, and they said it like, so the Echo Jinx fight and how amazing that is. They said they want to push they want to push their animation style like further and further, and make it even better than that. So I think it's going to be more. I don't know if it'd be better, but it's going to be more ambitious. I think, guaranteed.
Oh. Plus, it's French animation, so yeah. My people are good at something, ladies and gentlemen, and it's animation. That's for sure. Yeah. French people are great at animation, so hopefully they can pull it off. I hope that they, since with the, of course, you know how big Arcane has become, that they've probably expanded so much. So maybe that's something reassuring, because Fortiche is kind of a small studio actually in terms of the amount of people that they have. So I don't know. Do we have an estimate on how long it took them to do the first season's animation when they entered production for that?
It took 6 years from start to finish, but that's start to finish. That's not just animation. That's writing. That's the initial spark through to product finished. Yeah, I don't know how long it took them to animate it.
Oh, all right. Well,
you got to imagine it'll be quite a while, though.
Well, they've streamlined their process now, like in terms of their style. They've nailed down a style. They've established their world. So now all of the pre-production work is focused on like storytelling and expanding the world. I'd assume that the animation would not be faster, but way more streamlined, which would make it faster. So, like 3 years is a long time, but that's pretty fast. I mean, for this production and how detailed their art style is.
Yeah, definitely. The other thing that kind of blows my mind with Arcane is that the writers, at least according to IMDb, have no other writing credits. This was their first big gig. And they made something as good as Arcane. That's
Christian, the main guy. Christian, the main guy, like only directed and produced like music videos for Riot, and then he was like, "Hey guys, I want to make a TV show," and everyone was at Riot was like, "Okay." Like, okay, here's some money. You can do a little demo trick with the animation. And then they noticed that he was making something that was like really, really good. So like, okay, here's more money. Keep going. And have you watched the is it called Bridge the Rift?
Bridging the Rift.
Bridge.
I did watch it.
Have you watched that? Yes. Yeah. So like, even when they got canceled and he was devastated, and he's like, yeah, I'm still gonna keep going.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's a very very dedicated dude.
Yeah, the show would not exist if not for that guy, because he came up with the original idea, and he fought against like the Riot. I don't know if it was literally the Riot CEO, but it was the money guy, I guess. I can't remember. And he had to battle to get given the creative freedom and the budget to actually turn Arcane into what it is.
Man, Arcane is basically just lightning in a bottle, to which I'm scared that they won't be able to recreate that for season 2, but I do have the confidence.
Yeah.
A bit.
Yeah, if season 1 was not as tremendously good as it was, then I would be maybe more worried than I am, just because most things that come out these days are not great. But if you have the same team with the same trust from Riot and I guess Netflix, I don't actually know if Netflix had any input or if they were just the distributors, but yeah.
I think they just distribute it.
I think you're right. Yeah. Then yeah, I mean, if they did it once, they can do it again. I think whether they will do it again is a different question, but
we hope.
We hope. I really hope it's good.
We pray.
Well, on that note, what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to change things up, because why not? Change is good and change is fun. We're going to change the format. Since we are moving topics, what we're going to do is clear a few super chats, and then we shall progress to the next topic. And if there's, this will be fun. I'm sure people won't run away. And then if whoever's left at the end of the super chat section can enjoy the next segment of the podcast. We'll try it this way this week. Why not?
Fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it indeed. We have Taylor Ramirez for $2, who's actually preluding our next topic anyway. Hello, fellow woke bros. Hello. That is apparently what we are now. You'll discover what that means in a second. TGV Monster for $1.99. Hello, everyone. Good to see you all this Monday. It is 15 minutes short of Tuesday here, so it is still good to see you this Monday.
Tuesday here, so.
Oh well, happy Tuesday. How is Tuesday? How is the future?
It's looking gloomy. It's raining a bit outside, but yeah, it's still good. I'm alive, so that means that we live till tomorrow. You live till tomorrow.
After that, who knows? Get my chow for $5 communist dollars. LP, your video Foundations of Dune is excellent. It also helped me articulate why I could never get into Lord of the Rings or Star Wars, but could with Dune. That's an interesting one. Well, I'm glad you liked the video. Most people, in my impression, have the opposite problem. They struggle to get into Dune and find it much easier to get into the Lord of the Rings and Star Wars, including myself, actually. But I'm glad you liked the video and that it clarifies some things. It's yeah, the rest of that video, I don't know when it's going to come out because those two sections amount to, I think, almost an hour and 20 minutes, and that's not even the complete set of like material from the introduction of the video yet. So it's going to be a while. There'll be plenty of stuff in between, I think, hopefully. Get my job for another $5 communist dollars. I'll release a director's cut as well 6 months after the full thing. Also, the last 3 Frank Herbert Dune books are great, even with all the weird drug-fueled horny nonsense. They complete Herbert's ideas on governance. See, yeah, I think we just have very different taste in media, because that's the stuff that puts me off massively. And like also like the last 3, he starts becoming way more overt from what I vaguely remember of them. Like he has a character literally just break off mid-sentence and start ranting about how bad liberalism is. And I'm thinking, like, you made that quite subtly interesting point in book 1. I don't think you need a character to now start telling us how much you hate your fellow countrymen today, but each to their own, I suppose. Cynic, do you want to take this one for us?
I'm Feasting, a member for 2 months, said put a chick in it and make her gray or silver. Nice one.
Uninspired. Do you want to take this one for us?
Yeah, sure. Nick Cantros for $9.99. Sorry for butchering your name, dog. I guarantee the design of the Silver Surf her is going to be flat-chested and totally void of sex appeal. Well, yeah. Have you seen Julia Garner? Built like an ironing board, dude.
Well, that will be like one fun thing that's going to come out of it. It's just all of the epithets that character is given. Like we have to have epithets. Epithets are a thing that just happens on YouTube. So I think I've heard Silver Surfer, the Silver Surfer I think I've heard from someone. That was quite funny. I like that one. I don't know if I've heard any others yet, but I'm sure there'll be more.
Milfa Surfer?
Milfa Surfer. That's good. I might steal that one. M8566 who has been a member for 1 month. You've survived a month. Well done. Hail to Little Platoon, my favorite VTuber. I'm not going to take that as a massive compliment, given that I gather most VTubers are known to be completely insufferable scourges of the internet. But having cleared the low bar, I'm still happy. Thank you for that. Random, would you like to take this one for us?
Yeah, Metal Face Rosie for $2. I'm turning Woke Bros into a Broadway musical. I mean, I would definitely like to see. I'd like to know who's playing me, and I'll be disappointed if it isn't Patrick Warburton.
Oh, what's he been in? Where do I know that name from?
I mean, he voiced Kronk is the link I was making, but
okay. Oh, right. Yes. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
What's the other? Big Joe in America, not American Dad, Family Guy.
Oh yeah, Joe Swanson.
Yes, he was in B Movie, which is a little bit more obscure, but I mean, I don't know if anyone's seen it. That's a very funny movie. We can call it peak. I'm blanking on what else he's been in, but yeah, I mainly know him from his voice roles. I don't actually know if
he has the most recognizable voice ever, in my opinion. You just hear it, you know that it's him.
Sparks 7907 for another 5 communist stars. All the communists are giving us all of their money today. That's very kind of you. Yes, the Woke Bros Assemble cap. I don't know what kappa means. I'm sure it's very clever though. Nice to see Random on here. A crossover long in the waiting. Random, get these guys to watch Arcane Platoon. I've seen Arcane.
Yeah, it sounds like I don't need to do that.
No.
I'm the only one who hasn't seen it.
Yes, probably. Cynic is the one who hasn't seen Arcane. We need to bully Cynic into doing it.
And Vex. Vex hasn't seen it either.
How haven't you seen Arcane, Cynic?
The more I get pushed, the less likely I am to do it.
All right, don't watch Arcane.
Don't watch it. It sucks.
I'll do the tiniest amount of pushing, because if season 2 comes out and it's bad, then you will be less likely to watch season 1 knowing that it goes nowhere.
That's true.
So if you're going to watch it, I would
probably should
probably
do
watch
it
it before season 2 comes out.
That's true.
It is.
I will probably watch it before season 2 comes out.
Probably is not good enough. I think we need to upgrade that. You will watch it before season 2 comes out. I will fly to America and make you watch it. Stop watching the wrestling. Nobody needs to see giant men in their underpants throwing each other around a ring. Watch Arcane. It's good entertainment.
Dude, when he comes over to Britain, I need you to just chain him to your dungeon and just
next
have this
to
small
Christ.
TV.
Next to Backface, yeah. Speaking of giant men in their underpants throwing each other around a ring, this one's for you, Cynic.
Tay for $2 says, "Hey Cynic, did you catch WrestleMania last night?" Fuck yeah,
in the
I
dungeon
did.
and make him watch it.
I shelved myself away for the entire weekend. It's wrestling. It was wrestling Friday. Well, no, because today is Monday, so the follow-up, the epilogue, is tonight too. Yeah, it was awesome. It was really good. I was a little disappointed with the conclusion, but probably because I hyped it up too much. But I genuinely think that the storytelling in wrestling right now is so layered and so much better than a lot of what you're actually seeing in TV and on the silver screen right now. It's pretty amusing to say that and mean it. It's pretty good right now. It's a lot of fun.
I'm just going to take your word for that. There's no way.
Yeah. I'm not going to have anyone watch like 100 hours of fucking wrestling to take my. You're just going to have to take my word for it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, watch 200 hours just to get the context, so that
just to get the context. Like, here you go.
We have Easton for $4.99 in dollars. Love you guys. Hashtag woke bros. It's become a hashtag, and the thing that it's come from doesn't exist anymore, which is great, as we'll come on to in a moment. Italy spit for $4.99. I believe Dan Harmon Trojan Horse the MCU with his low tier writers and had Taika Waititi be his in Through the Toilet episode. I don't actually know that Dan Harmon benefits from that trade, given that Taika Waititi is also arse. So I don't. No one really benefits from that. We had Thor: Love and Thunder. That was Taika Waititi. Quite happy to see the back of him. Don't want him anywhere near Star Wars. Don't think he's going to go and improve Rick and Morty.
I mean, Taika Waititi is decent, but not inside the MCU. Like,
yes,
yeah.
If it's his own thing, like his earlier stuff, the indie stuff, and the stuff when he's just telling stories that he's like quite interested in on a personal level. I like is it Hunt for the Wilder People? That's like a nice great film, and What We Do in the Shadows. Like, obviously, everybody likes that one. Like he's good at that sort of small, low stakes, quite personal stories. It's when he gets other people's mythos and lots of money to spend, and like too many people blowing. How am I finishing this sentence? Blowing his trumpet, then yes, blowing his many appendages of many different types. There's no sex joke in there at all.
Have you guys seen his new movie?
Jojo Rabbit? Or is it a different one?
The one with Michael Fassbender in the lead, the true story about, I think it's the Samoan football team scoring their first ever goal in like the 2014 World Cup or something like that.
I saw that came out and I didn't care, so no, I haven't seen it. Is it any good?
I don't know. I haven't seen it. That's why I was asking you guys. Yeah, it came out last year, December. Yeah, end of year, December. Yeah, 2023, December. I don't know.
It is the sort of thing I can imagine him being quite good at. I can imagine that being a half decent film.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
We Were Dangerous? Is that? I'm just looking
up. No, it's
credits.
called Next Goal Wins. That's what it's called.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, if we're going by IMDb and Metacritic, would not recommend.
Yeah,
well.
true. Yeah. Oh, well. Taika Waititi's career is in the trash. What a great loss for cinema, ladies and gentlemen.
Mega Spider-Man for Spidey-Man, sorry, for €5. Hello there, Platoon. Please say I haven't heard that name in a long time. To all fave Dracula film / show, and why that? So, which is your favorite Dracula film / TV show? Should we go anti-clockwise? Cynic, favorite Dracula film or TV show?
I like the one with Keanu Reeves.
Oh, the Francis Ford Coppola one. Is that the one? Like when Gary Oldman plays No, is it Anthony Hopkins plays 3 characters, and Gary Oldman apparently almost punched Coppola, I think.
Mm.
That's a fun film. Why do you pick that one? Is it the naked? Is it the naked vampires?
No, it's because Keanu, with that fucking surfer bro accent, speaking like that is a perfect combination and makes the movie. I don't remember any lines, but I know it's it's a I don't know. Think of him trying to do Shakespeare or something. You know? Wherefore art thou? Yeah, it's
Perfect intonation there as well.
That was almost scarily good, that impression.
Oh dear. Andrew, do you have a favorite Dracula film / TV show? No.
No, fuck you.
Or a really long delay, one of the two. We're going to say no and move on. Uninspired, do you have a favorite Dracula film or TV show?
Me, it's either Nosferatu. Oh. Okay, do you have a delay or not?
30-second delay on that one.
Oh no, I was gone doing something. Sorry.
Oh,
no,
okay.
I've never
Very polite.
watched a Dracula movie.
Fair enough.
Any Dracula movie? Damn. All right.
Nope.
Uninspired, your choice was?
It's either Nosferatu or Van Helsing. I like Nosferatu because Nosferatu is a good movie, but I just love Dracula's depiction in Van Helsing. I think it's spectacular. So I'll go for Van Helsing.
Fair enough. Random, up to you now. Which one's your favorite?
So I need to again reinforce that Van Helsing is so much fun. I'm not again in particular because of I forget the dude's name who played Dracula, but he almost Nicolas Cages it. He just gives it his all, knowing that the film is not great. In terms of like actual Dracula movies, the one that I remember the most, which probably means it's my favorite, is the 1931 Bela Lugosi one.
Yeah.
I remember that being. Of course, it is dated because of like the technology of the time, but it was very kind of endearing, and it definitely had the creepy factor down. But then at the same time, this is a film where like you have like a lady screams when she's looking out the window, and then the film like shows you what's out the window, and there's just like a couple of bats dangling on a string. Like it's that kind of, I mean, at the time in 1931, it was probably horrifying, but now it's like, yeah, this is very, very campy. So yeah, that would I'd probably go with that one off the top of my head.
Bye, Andrew.
Andrew's gone again. Yeah, no, fair enough. I'm gonna be cheap and easy, and I'm gonna say Van Helsing just because I think it is just entertaining all the way through.
Yeah.
It's bad, but it's enjoyable. And I can't think of another one off the top of my head. Like the Coppola one is always just irritated me for various reasons. Keanu Reeves being high amongst them. And I've seen a bunch of the Christopher Lee ones, but I just can't tell them apart. So that probably means they don't really stand out very much. So yeah, Van Helsing. Yeah, you're right. He definitely Nicolas Cage's that performance. It's pretty entertaining all the way through. We have Zax, who's been a member for 2 months. First Silver Surfer to be dressed in baggy layers. Is that? I'll take that as true.
Yeah,
Uninspired. I don't know what the connection is here, but it's for you.
Oh no! The Taker 610 for $2. The uninspired reviewer Chris Stuckman. Okay.
Oh no!
No, that's a horrible comparison, but I guess you could call Stuckman an uninspired reviewer. I don't know. I've never seen a Stuckman video in my life, dude. Ever.
I used to watch him quite a lot, and it's kind of I want to say depressing what's essentially happened to him, in particular with the not Captain Marvel. What's it fucking called? The other one, Madam Web stuff.
Madam Web, yes.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah. I'm not gonna review it because I know the pain of making a movie now. I'm big time, dude. That's basically it. I don't know.
In a nutshell, it's you. I mean, yeah. I'm guessing everyone here has already seen it, but it's basically you can't trust what I say because I won't tell you if a film is bad. Like, well, okay, but then what's the point of telling us that the film is good if your radar, if your meter is broken? Like,
It's also there's no point watching. If he begins a video with "I'm not going to talk about this movie," that he thinks the movie's shit anyway. Like, he hates the film because he's not going to talk about it. So it's self-defeating. And it is your job to be a critic. Creators get a huge amount more out of being criticized, I firmly believe, than being praised. That's certainly my experience and the experience of anyone I know who's ever made anything. It's the criticism that helps more. There's a reason like any writer's room will spend hours and hours and hours every single week just talking through ideas and criticizing them before the thing you see on the screen or in the game comes to be. That's the important bit. It's more interesting and it's more educational and you learn more from it. So simply saying, yeah, I'm above this criticism thing now because, I'm making movies myself is just low and shit. That being said, though, I did praise him in that Godzilla stream we did because he kind of reviewed that movie. He said some not so pleasant things about it occasionally. He did a job. It wasn't anything like revolutionary. He just made a good point. Like, it's saying when you don't have the scale comparator of real world people or objects, then all of the monsters look normal sized and it defeats the point, which I thought was, a basic point, but he's doing his job again. Maybe he's learned his lesson. Who knows?
Yeah, could be.
Probably, maybe, or else he just doesn't like care to risk his. I don't know. It kind of feels like he's doing it for the like the points where it's like, oh yeah, I'm a filmmaker now. And that's pretty much it. It's like, nah, I don't know, dude. Just fucking critique the movie.
I remember just quickly to I guess plug one of Chris Stuckman's older videos. One that I remember being very good, which maybe it isn't. It's been a while since I watched it. He had like an hour-long conversation with another channel about Alien 3. One of them, I forget who, one of them was under the belief that Alien 3 was underrated and the other one thought it was like garbage. So it was interesting watching them kind of, it wasn't really a debate, but they were basically arguing their points in favor, and it was a reasonably good video. And again, it was basically an hour long, which you don't really see from him very often or ever anymore.
All right, I'll have to check that one out. Yeah. I'm a small fan of Alien Cubed. I think it's a weird
Alien
movie.
Cubed. Yeah.
Yes.
We have Black Lives or Black Knives, who's been a member for 5 months. Taika Man kills your mythos if he can. Yes, most of the time he can, as it turns out. It's the one thing he's genuinely quite consistently good at. Larry for $20 made us look. Well done.
Larry.
And finally,
Larry.
for this chunk of super chats, at least, we have Larry again for $5. Do any of you like Ryan George's pitch meeting channel? Funny stuff.
Yeah, I watch him every week.
Yeah, I do like him.
I was shown it recently. He's a very funny person, definitely.
Oh, you've only recently discovered pitch meetings? Oh,
yeah,
man.
I never watched him because I was kind of put off by his thumbnails, and then a friend,
That's funny.
a friend showed me. I think it was his video on the Hunger Games movies because I rewatched those recently, and yeah, then we just put on the pitch meeting videos on the Hunger Games, and fantastic. He's concise and he's funny, but he's able to deliver like a reasonable amount of actual, I guess, criticism in a very, very entertaining way, but also in a very, very short amount of time. So it's digestible in the way that like a Chris Stuckman video might be. But I mean, I definitely got more out of it.
Well, it's actually entertaining. Chris Stuckman is
yes,
he's grandfathered into what he does, so he gets away with never. I swear to God, he still uses the same camera he had in like 2008, and he just stands there and stares at that screen and talks like this. There's like absolutely no fucking entertainment value in any of his videos at all. And since now we can't even trust his opinion, what the fuck value does he even bring as a YouTuber at all? Anyway, I hadn't even thought, like, I hadn't even spoken about this topic, but it just it enrages me.
I can tell the rage has been building for a long time, and it's finally coming out.
Like, God, you fucking useless! You're useless, absolutely useless.
I don't think I want to get Stuckmanized anymore.
I'd never watched him, but then he came like 3 times. I think it was 3 times in a row when I was on EFAB, but we somehow ended up back on Stuckman. So I got doused in just unending amounts of Stuckman, and now I feel like I know his content pretty well. That like the entertainment value just comes with how little he says. That's kind of funny. That when he does his like year in review thing, and it's like 5 seconds per film. And one of the reviews boils down to what, like, it's directed by so-and-so and it has a chair in it. And then they just move on.
No, this one's peak.
I gotta check out his videos now just to laugh.
Why am I putting effort into my videos? I'm just gonna do this now. Just
I know, it makes me think, I sit there, it takes me 6 hours to do 15 minutes of footage in a video. And it's like I could just be doing that. Why aren't I doing that? Maybe I should just completely sell out.
All right, new
Um,
Dune review, 5 seconds long. Dune
Yeah.
2023 is great. It has Big Worm. Like
It's
and
film.
subscribe.
It's directed by Denis. It stars
Yeah.
Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya. It's got a big sandy planet. And it
Love
looks
that
really
shit.
good.
Worm
And
time.
I recommend it.
The extent of my knowledge of Chris Stuckman, I think, is that one video of Mahler doing a Stuckman impersonation. That's
Oh
on
yeah.
YouTube. That's it. That's like the only knowledge I have of Chris Stuckman. I don't know. It's just hilarious.
He's like
But-
he's like a diet version. His voice is like a diet version of that organized chaos chud.
Oh my god.
You know what I mean? Like,
It's organized chaos, dude.
That's just mean.
sorry. I'm just on one today.
I kind of want you to make that noise again.
That is another $5.
I guess YouTube rewards bigots.
So, oh god, I feel like I know exactly who you're talking about, even if I didn't recognize the name.
Yep.
Yep.
Said it before. It's a voice like you're sandpapering your own balls. It's just it's quite special. But
But,
I also didn't realize that his name on Twitter is Bob Chaos, which is just worse.
Oh my god.
Are you
It's
serious?
a Minecraft name, like username. I don't believe that's real.
Bob
Organized
Chaos.
Chaos is a way better name than Bob Chaos, but apparently that's
Some
what he goes by now. So there we are.
kid on Roblox was like, "Yes, this will be my name."
Yeah. Well, I mean, given we
Professor
are now
Chaos.
being very mean about other YouTubers, I guess that's kind of the fairly natural segue into being mean about another YouTuber. That was the other thing that happened yesterday, and has now been attempted at least to be memory hold. So this was like I am a pretty crap YouTuber, and you are free to clip that if you want. In that I spend almost no time actually on the platform, so I had never ever heard of, and I've actually now forgotten the name. Hello Future Me, that's the one. Never heard of this guy until yesterday. Who has, is it 1.1 million subscribers? I think it is. It's like a fairly big
Yeah.
channel.
Yeah.
Not
pretty big.
negligible.
I haven't checked if it's gone down since then, but yes, that was
Oh, that's
the
a
number.
good point. Actually, that would be interesting to have a look. I might even do that.
Don't
That
think
would
he
be
delete
interesting
the
to see.
video anyways.
Well, no, we'll come to that. I'll do the I'll set up the groundwork. So yeah, yesterday then I was some group chat on Twitter. I can't. It might have been Hostman tagged me in a group chat, and Hostman was watching Random's response video to Hello Future Me, which is how I became aware of Hello Future Me because I'd never actually heard of him before. So then I watched Random's response video, and then also that's how I found out that I was in this video as well, briefly as it was. And then I went and thought, I'll have a look at this. Since apparently, according to this fairly substantial YouTube channel, that we are part of what he terms the woke bros. And this takes up the final, almost, I think it was almost half, the final half, or at least final third of the video he was doing on Rings of Power. Where he says, like, all of the things that make Rings of Power disappointing from his point of view. But the final boss, in his own words, was the woke bros. The woke bros consist of people like Drinker, Gary from the Roddick, Az, Random, myself, Disparu. Who else was on that list? There's a few others as well.
Despot of Antrim, George the Giant Slayer, the
Oh, yeah.
Quartering,
Shad.
Shad, yes, specifically Night's Watch, but he names him as Shad. I think that's it. I might be missing one.
Yeah, there might be another one. And then he scrolled down. Az was there. Yeah. And then by implication, because he scrolled down a few thumbnails by way of analysis, and some other people made it in that section. So yeah, he's in this video, and so apparently we are the final boss of the internet, and that we are pretending to be objective media critics, but what we are really sinisterly doing is subtly, or not so subtly in some cases, shoveling in political messaging in the name of media criticism, which is designed to lead young men astray, which is something I can confirm that I do, but just not in that context. And then he then makes a lot of very spurious accusations, shall we say? Well, I mean, Random, you've done the response video to it already, and I was going to go and consider doing one myself, and then I thought, well, we can do it on BSUP, and then we found out that he deleted the last half of his video, so it's now gone from the internet. So we're actually responding to nothing that ever exists. I left him a nice little snarky comment, that's gone as well. So now it no longer happened. We're no longer the woke bros. I'm going to take it as an implicit apology, I think. But having done the response video, I mean, what was the most sort of standout fun thing about learning how evil, nasty, and bigoted you were?
The most fun thing that I found out, well, yeah, the most fun thing to, I think, come out of it is the staggering levels of the staggering lack of self-awareness and the staggering amounts of hypocrisy. Because he seemed to hold two beliefs simultaneously. On the one hand, he believes that the woke bros, which, to be clear, he's referring to people who he believes are anti-woke activists, if that makes sense. I don't know why he called us woke bros. I have no idea. But to avoid confusion, I'm just going to use the words he used, which is woke bros. So he believes that the woke bros are pushing an agenda to varying degrees of, they're taking various efforts to hide it sometimes or sometimes not. And their intention is to convince young men, so you would assume like sort of maybe teenagers or people in their early 20s, and convince them of various right-wing talking points. At the same time, what he did, and this I think was particularly evident because of the fact that he had included me, because my channel, I believe, is the smallest channel that he had included. And at the time when I released my Rings of Power videos, it was definitely the smallest channel that he included. And he misinterpreted / misrepresented my videos, Platoon's videos, Drinker's videos, and a whole bunch of others, because he, for some reason, believed that there was a hidden agenda in there.
What the fuck?
Yeah. He is guilty of exactly what he was accusing the woke bros of doing.
And quite astonishing, like in almost every way, like every single facet of the argument this guy was making is perfectly represented. You couldn't really wish for a better representation of the type of thing he's accusing us of doing than his video. That was the really really fun thing, because I started out like watching it thinking, because I'm actually only in it for a few seconds, disappointingly. There's one, like he clips half of a joke that I made about choreography, and this is to bolster the point that the woke bros generally are building this narrative that modern media hates men and is pushing women into the forefront. I can't imagine where he got that impression from. But yeah, he picks this one like little section and then moves on. So I was starting by thinking, well, the general rule of thumb, you don't speak for other people, they can defend themselves. So there's no point really, addressing or defending, say, Shad, because Shad's perfectly able to do that for himself. But the problem with the approach is that it's not that easily compartmentalized, because the entire narrative of the thing is basically saying that all of these people are part of the same category, pushing the same message. And specifically, the message is like anti-feminist, anti-LGBTQ agenda, pro-meninist, I think, sort of comes in there occasionally. And so all of the usual like breakdowns of what it takes to be a bigot, effectively. And because it's like this collective grouping, it is kind of collective guilt as well. So actually, it isn't the case that I can leave, say, Shad to defend himself or Drinker to defend himself, that they're both capable of doing that. Because by implication, both you and I and everyone else in the video, and sitting one of your thumbnails gets a nice little mention as well, is all guilty of pushing the exact same singular, consistent narrative. And that's the argument that he's making all the way through. And that's where it really falls down in two respects. It falls down in the first place because it's exactly what he's doing, which is just, I mean, it's so obvious if you see it. And there is a version archived, which I don't know what to do with yet. Maybe I'll try and play it maybe a bit of it later. But if you haven't seen it, then tough. So it's exactly what he's doing, but it's also absolutely not what any of the individual creators are doing. And that's when it sort of falls apart completely, because you can't simultaneously say, well, Shad is a conservative Mormon who is fearful of the LGBTQ agenda, whatever that happens to be. And therefore, he's in the same camp as the little Platoon, who is famously not a straight person, and so hasn't really got much reason to fear the LGBTQ agenda. At the same time as the Drinker, who like complains about women, apparently, even though like the Drinker has a huge list of his favorite like characters in fiction, and most like loads of them are strong women. Like none of these people are actually part of the same agenda. And it kind of got me thinking that I've streamed and been lucky enough to stream with a lot of the people he mentions. I don't think I could actually tell you what most of their actual political views are. I could make inferences, and I know what they're against. And Shad's probably one of the most open people about, the way that his beliefs change, like how he views certain bits of media, which I don't really have a problem with at all, as long as you're honest about it, which is Shad is, and I think Hello Future Me absolutely is not. So yeah, I'm so sad that he's taken it down because it's such a good example of so many things to do wrong. It's like way to project essentially.
So yeah, relating to Shad, like Shad is, again, he is not secretive about his beliefs, about the fact that he's a Mormon. And one of Hello Future Me's main points that he brings up multiple times is that the woke bros, which again includes me and Platoon for some reason, we're trying to hide our ideology, and we're trying to use media reviews as an excuse to get this information into, like, get these ideas into, you know, impressionable young minds. Two examples straight up. So Shad does not hide what he says, which means that you're not watching a Shad video, at least on the Night's Watch channel, and being unaware of what his political beliefs are, because he doesn't hide it. He's not trying to trick anyone. And another example is one of the channels that is named, but I don't think he plays a clip from, is a channel called The Woke Critic. And I don't know who that channel is. I have no idea.
He's very funny.
Yeah,
okay,
really
so
funny.
Super funny.
But given that he's called The Woke Critic, you can't then accuse him of trying to hide the fact that he's critical of wokeism. Like, that doesn't work. That's the name of his channel, right?
Yeah.
Or is he using that name ironically?
No, he uses it sort of like he sort of does a satire. So
Yeah,
he'll say,
all
"Oh,
of it.
the
Okay.
Rings of Power is great because Galadriel is so powerful and strong, and she's the best of the best." You know, that type of that's what he does.
Okay.
So he'll give the Rings of Power 5 stars because it's woke, technically. You know,
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. That sounds funny. I might need to watch that.
It is really
it is,
funny.
dude. He's great, man. He's fantastic, dude. He's a friend.
Yeah,
He was
I
like one
talked
of
to
the
him.
earliest people that supported his my channel, and I was actually his second subscriber. And
Oh, nice.
we were just talking to each other in our comment sections, and then he blew up with Rings of Power. Dude, he's great. He's great. You should check out his videos. You'll laugh
I
your
talked
ass
to him
off, man.
through email, and he said that, like, he said that all of his videos he writes late at night on weekends after he's been drinking for quite a while. They're fantastic. Yeah.
Another point, just quickly on the topic of Hello Future Me, is an example of an extreme lack of self-awareness. Is immediately, I don't know if we have I don't have a screenshot. I should have probably grabbed one. He uses this Trojan horse analogy where he literally says that the woke bros are using a Trojan horse of having their media reviews, and they're trying to sneak in the fact that feminists are destroying the world. Seemingly, though, he's unaware of the fact that his video essentially functions as a Trojan horse, because the first 2.5 hours of it is him being critical of Rings of Power. The final 90 minutes is basically him sneaking in a load of political stuff where he's attacking people that he thinks disagree with him. And if you go even like deeper than that, there's a third level to the Trojan horse, is that he mentions a bunch of straight up political people that he does not mention when he lists the list of YouTubers. So he mentions by name Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson, and Matt Walsh, and there were a couple of other names in there that I've never heard of. But he hides that in like the last 10 minutes of his video, which means that he is making a comparison directly between what myself and Platoon do and what Matt Walsh and Ben Shapiro do, for example. Like that's not the same thing in the slightest, and I have no idea how he arrived there.
No, and it's I couldn't really decide whether or not to be like quite angry and annoyed about it, but I generally don't get offended by morons on the internet. So it was just sort of like slightly shocking that it was coming from a channel with 1.1 million subscribers, and who kept saying these people, you know, there's no one to fact check them. They're completely independent. So the implication being, so I am doing the fact checking here. It's like, yeah, but everything you've said is a lie. Like nothing you've said is true. People aren't fact checking you. That's the problem. And like you say, building what is an overtly political narrative. But what I think that this is one of the problems with that there is a certain type of person and a certain type of I think circle on the internet. Organized chaos sort of fits into this. I gather. I mean, I didn't know much of his content before this point, but it sounds, at least from this available evidence, that Hello Future Me sort of is part of this camp as well. Here I am putting people in camps. I must be a Nazi. But he's what they do is kind of positioning. It's all about how they stand in relation to the audience they've cultivated. That's sort of stereotypical audience capture type thing. The audience that they've captured is sort of locked in a bit of a purity spiral. So he's in this inconvenient position where he's saying, well, I thought, Rings of Power was objectively really bad, but I look around and everyone else who's saying it's really bad are the bad people, and I can't be seen to be one of them. So I must distance myself from them. So I'm going to devote like almost half of my entire video critiquing Rings of Power to criticizing people who actually have raised almost every one of the points I've raised in this video. I believe earlier in the video, he makes like this point about diegetic diversity in Rings of Power. I've got a whole mini essay in my video making the same point. It's like you haven't found anything with which to disagree. You've just clipped half of a joke. That's not thorough.
That whole point is one of the, I think I counted, there are 3, possibly 4 moments, and I say moments because they are momentary, in my 14 odd hours of covering Rings of Power, that could be misconstrued as political commentary. And that whole idea of like where to include the diversity and using it as part of an integral part of the world building, and the fact that they didn't do that, that is one of the points that I make that I guess you could potentially misconstrue. But that's one of like, what, 2 or 3 minutes out of like 14 hours of content. So yeah, evidently I don't think I just don't think that he watched it.
No,
I don't think so either. But
which is massively dishonest. And again, for a channel of that size to go around making these points, to be fair, like Drinker and Gary get like most of the flack.
Yes.
Actually, you get probably more flack than almost anybody else besides them, don't you? I think he, well, and Shad as well. It's like those are the big
Shad,
who get most of it.
Yeah, in terms of like the amount of time that he dedicates, I mean, I can't measure. I guess now that we have the web archive, we probably could measure it. But proportionally, the size of my channel is not proportional to the amount of time that he spends on me in that video. But he does bring me up in relation to Barbie. He mentions that I covered Barbie and that therefore I'm, must be a bad person. I'm paraphrasing, but obviously. The bit that he conveniently missed out, because I'll be charitable here in as much as I can. He probably doesn't know about the existence of my second channel, but he mentions like, of course, all these people covered Barbie and they all thought it was shit. And of course, they all covered episode 3 of The Last of Us and they all thought it was shit.
I really liked that episode. What the fuck are you talking about?
I thought it was the best episode of the season.
Yes, by some considerable distance.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Like it just as a pure like 1 hour of TV, it was the best episode of the season. Like I have problems with it in terms of how it slots into a season of TV.
Yes.
But as an hour of storytelling, it's not flawless, but it's fantastic. It's really, really, really good. And he just, again, he accuses us of cherry picking. And then cherry picks. You really can't make it up. And I'm glad that when I recorded my response, I started taking notes, and then it got to a point where he said something about Drinker. I can't remember exactly what it was. And I thought, right, screw this. I'm just going to turn on my mic and hit go. Because I'm not going to be able to accurately, capture my response to this by scripting it. And kind of glad that I did. That's I just remembered. Sorry, one of the other names that he mentions at the end of the video, or towards the end of the video, alongside Peterson and Shapiro, is Andrew Tate.
God, yes, that's the culminating argument, isn't it? Like we are all effectively pipelines to Andrew Tate.
We are the gateway drug. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
I'm gonna believe in that. Just because it's funny.
You're leading us out of the Matrix.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've actually said on one of these streams that I have no idea why so many young men are so besotted with a man who looks like a hard-boiled egg. Like, I'm pretty sure I've said that several times even. And this pipeline argument is so disingenuous. But it's the thing that people sort of treat themselves. And to be fair, like the people on both, it's the typical both sides thing. I'm not saying that both sides do it equally, but it is a tendency of people who are too far gone down a particular ideology. They always assume that what they are doing is standing for goodness and what their opponents are doing is politics. And that's a different thing. You do politics, I stand for what's right, which is very much the sort of the tone that I get coming from him, because if you actually treated all of the issues he brings up himself, and he spends more time talking about things like gender roles and the LGBTQ stuff than any of the critics I think that he mentions, maybe like the exception of FNT. So he spends more time talking about things which are objectively political issues. Where you stand on them is irrelevant. But because he believes they are in the right and they are tantamount to decency in our politics, he doesn't recognize it as being the same thing that his opponents are doing. Like he wants there to be gay elves in Middle Earth, and I look at him and I think, well, they are still casting maybe, so you could apply, but I don't imagine that you'll get in. All of that stuff, that is political, whether or not you agree with it. It's just you can't do this irregular verb thing where you do politics and I don't. It's not that. You are doing politics as well. You just disagree with the perceived politics of people on the other side. You build a narrative out of all of these various people, cherry-picking examples to get to this one point that you've threaded through your entire analysis, which you call media criticism. And then you have the gall to accuse the people you criticize of doing that, when that is exactly the thing that you're doing. It's just maddening.
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable. And like, I think, as we've mentioned, like, he has now re-edited the video. He's trimmed out that entire final section. So if you go on his channel now, it's just not there.
But there is the timestamp. The timestamp at the end of his video still says the final boss, the woke bros, but it's just his. I think it's his Patreon or something that's just rolling by.
Yeah. So yeah, the fact that he's removed it, like, I think that, like, if I was him, I probably would have done the same thing. I think that's the only move that he could have made, given how badly he screwed up. The things he can do from this point on is he can upload an edited version of the final 90 minutes as like a separate video, but trim out the bits where he's being disingenuous, which will probably mean it's down to about maybe half an hour.
Well, that's generous, isn't it? I was going to say about 10 minutes at most.
Yeah, or at the very least, remove the name drops, remove the specific references to channels that blatantly don't do what he's talking about, and just name people who actually do what he's talking about. Yeah, that is one thing that he can do. What he couldn't do, though, is keep the video up and apologize, because if he apologizes and he's like, right, I shouldn't have included these 3 or 4 channels, sorry, that was a mistake, then he is publicly undermining the point that he was making in his video. And of course, he's not going to do that. He may as well delete the video if he's going to do that.
Which is itself disingenuous, because that's, again, evidence of audience capture. You know, he's very, very concerned with how his audience will react to that sort of content. The honest thing, honestly, the preferred course of action I would recommend is take that part of the video down, edit it into something which is comprehensible, try and support the claims that you've made using more than cherry-picked arguments and like 10 seconds of a clip from a 2-hour video or half of a joke from a 3-hour video. Try and actually substantiate the allegations you're making rather than just making them as though they're facts. Put that video up as its own longer thing, and then maybe we can have a discussion. Because I was chatting to Mauler on Discord about this like a little bit earlier, and Mauler actually escaped the list, and so did EFAP, which is like, I'm sure really disappointing, because EFAP is basically just like the citadel of bigots to these people. Like, everyone's been on there talking Rings of Power. We've all been mean, evil, right-wing Nazis on that stream.
That was how I discovered you, Platoon. It was when you were on EFAP talking about Rings of Power.
Rings of Power, there we go. And we said some unspeakably horrible things about all of the minorities, because, you know, famously, that's what we always do. There's plenty of evidence. Like, we've all done really long videos, we've all done really long streams. You would think that there would be plenty of evidence to substantiate these points. So go and find it. Go, you know, find something that someone said on EFAP. Try and make the point that what is being done is disingenuous politicking, because that's the second part, and well, the predetermining part of the claim is that it's not just that the politics exist in the video, is that they are being disingenuously inserted into the video to trick people, i.e. the accusation is bad faith and dishonesty as well as politicking. He doesn't substantiate any of those things, and I would really like to see him try. And there are plenty of people, they keep popping up. Organized Chaos is another example. There is a subgenre of film YouTube which is pretty much exclusively dedicated to trying to bring down what I guess we'd nebulously call our corner of YouTube film criticism. Plenty of people in our corner of YouTube criticism. We've done hours and hours of content. You would think there would be plenty of material. So go and find it. And it's just that whenever they try, it seems, like Organized Chaos scrolling through one of Mauler's videos trying to find if he was mean about the lesbians. And it turns out he wasn't. Like,
didn't he do that on a live stream?
He did, I think. It was live at the time. Yes. Very embarrassing. But then everything about that guy is embarrassing. So
yeah. Yeah, what was that noise he makes again?
Honestly, the best way to combat them, I think, is just ignore them and try to make better content than them. Like, if you want to be better than them, or like,
I think we already do that.
Yeah,
we're saying they should do that.
Yeah, they need to do that. Like, step up your game, make good content, make people look at you make people look at you more than they look at like your opponent. Just be better than them and ignore them. It's like the best way to do that.
Yeah, so I definitely would have preferred to ignore them or ignore Hello Future Me in this instance, because I completely agree with what you just said. The reason why I felt like I had to respond is because I figured people who watch Drinker, people who watch Nerdrotic, these are channels with 1 or 2 million subs. They hear what Hello Future Me says, and they're going to just know that it's false on the face of it, and they're going to laugh at him. My channel is a fraction of the size of those channels. So I thought I essentially need to clear my name here, because this guy is just, straight up misrepresenting what I think and misrepresenting what my channel actually is, to his 1.1 million subscribers. I don't care for YouTube beef. I don't really pay attention to it whenever it happens. And to be honest, like I highly doubt that I will like make any other kind of video referencing what happened. Which is also why I put the response that I did put up on my second channel. Because yeah, I don't really care about YouTube beef, but at the same time, a channel that size telling lies about a channel my size, I basically felt like I had to say something.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with you, man. I think that at that point you're really, really forced to say something, because it just affects you in general, and it affects people that might have enjoyed your content, which, by the way, is fucking fantastic, dude. And
well, thank you.
So it's like, yeah, I don't know. To me, what's baffling is the fact that someone can be so disingenuous and just be okay with it. Now it seems as if he's not really okay with it, since he took down that portion. But still, the fact that he's not really acknowledging the things like that, and I guess Platoon, he removed your comment or something.
It's not. It doesn't seem to be there anymore. I have had a look. Other people have also had a look. It does seem to have disappeared somehow.
Well, you screenshotted it, right? So it's fine.
Oh yeah, it's on Twitter for all to see. Yeah, and we've got the archive version of the actual thing, obviously, as well. But like,
beautiful.
I think that the fact that it comes, I've got the timestamp for it. I think, just to sort of give a sense of the scale. Like, he's got 2 hours and 18 minutes of actual Rings of Power criticism in this video. I've not watched all of it. I've watched bits and pieces of that criticism, and some of it's genuinely good media criticism. Credit to him for doing that. And as I say, I think I've made some of the same points, and you've made some of the same points, Random, as he has, and I think Cynic, you've probably made some of the same points as well. Everyone who've covered Rings of Power has made some of the points, because he's picking out things that are very easy to call out as being very bad about Rings of Power. It's when you establish seemingly at least establish your authority as a genuine, sincere media critic like that over 2 hours, and then you spend the remaining, it is almost another 2 hours 18 to 3 hours 59. That's when it goes into the final boss of, the woke bros thing. You've established your authority, seemingly, and then you use that, having established your credentials as a media critic, to use those credentials essentially against other people doing effectively the same thing you're doing, just because you don't like what you perceive them to have said in other areas. And that is ultimately disingenuous, and that is exactly what he's talking about sneaking narratives into media criticism like that. Like some of us, I think, like you said, you've put a couple of bits that could be construed as politics into a Rings of Power critique. I make jokes about fucking everyone. So there will be jokes about everyone. There's a Biden joke and a Trump joke, I think, in the first Rings of Power videos, because I like being balanced and I hate them all equally. But there's also bits about, the very obvious stuff about the angry young white guy who's, berating the black elf for, being an imperialist. And there's the take our job stuff, which is like, that is quite overt, I would say, political messaging in Rings of Power. This idea that only media critics who are on the right, or what Hello Future Me perceives of as being the right, are doing politics, and that this is not an accusation you can make against writers of major productions, is just for the birds. We all know that these things do get snuck in. If you're going to put politics in the thing, I will criticize the politics in your thing, has always been my approach to those things. But like, the general rule is it well written or not? You can have things I politically disagree with that I think are incredibly well written and enjoyable. I think V for Vendetta is a really good film, and I think its politics are toxic, but I really enjoy the film. If I were reviewing that, I would tell you what I thought about both of those things, and I would not be lying about them. But to say, yes, the only people I disagree with are doing politics and nobody else is, and that it's beyond even the suggestion that writers are putting these things into their productions, so you can't comment on politics in productions, is just fanciful. The guy should know better, and apparently does. Well, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. He's deleted it, so who the fuck knows?
Do you guys know any reason as to why he would have deleted it? Because, like, did he delete it after? Well,
yeah,
did he delete it after he got pushback or before?
So, I have no idea to what degree. I'm going to guess that the video that I put up is minimally. I don't know. I'm speculating, honestly. The reason why I want to
Mhm.
say that it's minimally responsible is because the video is on my second channel that has less than 2,000 subscribers. It had less than 1,000 subscribers when I put the video up, and the video currently has 14,000 views. That is peanuts compared with his video that has nearly, 200,000 views, I think?
Yep.
However, after I did upload that video, I did just check his comments, like after I woke up the following morning, and there was a notable increase in people being like, what the fuck are you doing? So he may have seen that, and one of two things happened. I guess he either decides, yeah, this is too much heat for me, I'm going to pretend that I didn't say what I said, or hopefully there's going to be some acknowledgement of wrongdoing. But until he actually says something, then who knows? Like, I'm not expecting that he will apologize. I don't really care if he does, to be honest. But at the very least, the content is not on his channel anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's only the few 100,000 people who've seen it already that come away with the impression that we're all right-wing Nazis and bigots. So, damage is minimal. Yeah, no, I had to quickly through the comments myself. Like, I left one saying, like, yeah, hello, I'm Mr. Gay Liberal Atheist who quite likes women, actually, and thinks diversity is a good thing. Really happy to see that, you've educated me that my video arguing for more and better diversity means I hate diversity. So there's that. There's quite a few comments sort of along the same lines. Your name was mentioned a lot by people saying, I don't know why you've put like random film guy in there. I don't know why. Is it just some guy was in there as well? Don't know why you put him there.
Yes.
Don't know why you put Platoon in there. Then you get, of course, people coming in and defending drinkers' takes and things like that. There was quite a lot of pushback from that.
I have the plug-in so I can see the dislikes. And I compared it to his other videos, and the dislikes are like it's like 11,000 positive to like 1.6 thousand negative, and that like his last video, it has 750,000 views and only 537 dislikes. Like, he talks to his audience, so clearly he was getting pushed. Yeah, like it just speaks to the comments, and clearly like the dislike ratio, he was starting to get a lot of pushback. So he just wanted that gone and just completely got rid of it. I'm surprised he didn't expect any. He clearly didn't expect any pushback.
I mean, again,
it would have been contained to like his audience,
Yeah.
Giving his people what they want. That's what he thought that would do.
It's like I think he probably just expected it to just be stuck in his little echo chamber. Like, look at these guys, aren't they so terrible? And then the people that you're calling terrible finds it, and they're like, oh God, what do we do?
That's like me saying Godzilla versus Kong sucked and not expecting the comments to be
yeah, that's like you deleting your video after like 3 hours of being up.
Yeah, like I didn't expect that to happen. Come on.
But yeah, in terms of whether or not he expected or like foresaw that this kind of thing was going to happen, remember that he hid this section of his video 2.5 hours into a video entitled I can't remember what it is. Rings of Power. It's not Rings of Power. Rings of Power is a disappointment, and here's why. Someone who doesn't watch his channel has no reason to assume from that title that there's going to be anything else in there. Something Trojan horse. Yeah.
That's also weird to me, because like if you're gonna like I guess not attack, but like attempt to critique a section of the internet that you disagree with, I would assume that you would like make that the main target like for your audience, and like market the video as that instead of like hiding it in another video, especially when it's like a good portion of the video itself that you're making it within.
And to be completely fair, maybe he will now do that. Maybe he will re-upload the 90-minute segment as a different video, but you've got to think he will, having now seen the backlash. It's the same, going back to Rebel Moon, it's the same as like Zack Snyder having seen the backlash. Is he going to change things? you got to think probably.
Yeah, he's probably going to give you guys the director's cut, where he just does all of this, releases it as a separate video, and that's what he does. And it's like, I don't know, it's such a weird thing, especially coming from a big channel too, that doesn't seem to have a history of doing something like that. It's just really out of left field. I don't know.
And I was kind of surprised when I saw the size of the channel, because like I watch a lot of like guys that talk movies on YouTube, and I had never heard of him. and this guy's the same size as YMS in terms of his sub count.
Mhm.
It was just insane to me. Like I just had to kind of like I know I'd never heard of Hello Future Me, but like I had to imagine like what if YMS had said this? I would be like, well, in disbelief, which I mean I guess I am, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's such a weird situation, especially from the part of what's his name again? Hello Future Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you, I had never heard of this before. Even when Platoon, I saw your tweet when I woke up this morning. I was so confused because I was thinking, what the fuck is Hello Future Me? I thought that you were literally talking to your future self or something.
Yeah, I was so
Like,
confused.
what?
When, I was just like, I don't understand what he's yapping about.
what
I'm
is-
just gonna
what is
read
going on?
this YouTube comment.
Same. But yeah, I don't know. It's I think that it's disgusting. It's disingenuous. It's just nasty, and
Yeah.
man, that's yeah. Even me, I'm speechless about it. To think that someone can do that, especially to smaller channels like you, Random. I just think that's stupid too. It's just proof that he never watched any of your videos. He just skimmed, looked at the thumbnails, and called it a day. That was it. And probably just went through your videos, really, really skimmed them, because I doubt that he sat down and watched Platoon. I doubt he sat down and watched both yours and Random's videos, which to a combined would probably take 2 years of your lifespan to make this video. So yeah, it's just pure stupidity.
Yeah, I almost tempted to parody. I don't even know how you would parody it. I was thinking like maybe when I eventually get around to doing Rings of Power Part 3, I could make it like a 3.5 hour long video, and I get through all of it, and it's completely straight media criticism. And then right at the end, it's, and by the way, the Jews control Hollywood.
Oh, like no, make it even more like Trojan horse like, and make it like 5 seconds after you like outro the video, and then you just say, and you just say all of that, and then the video is done. And then anyone who has it on like a second monitor playing is gonna be like, wait, what? Huh?
Oh, it's great. But you get the audience you cultivate there. There was one guy who commented under my comment and saying, I've just scrolled through your channel and I can see that he was right about you. But yeah, I can tell that you've subbed to a channel which thinks that and like scrolling past thumbnails counts as criticism. Yes, this makes perfect sense to me.
I just
Oh
think
my
it's
God.
funny because it happened to me back last year during like Ahsoka when that was coming out. Some guy on Twitter like screenshotted my thumbnail. Was like, this guy's toxic. What is this guy doing? I was like, number one, I think my thumbnails are funny. And number two, watch my video, please. Because in his I think in his Twitter post, it was something along the lines of like, be open for conversation. Don't just be a dick online. And then I started commenting on all of his posts regarding me, and he's actively avoiding me. Like he's not replying to any of them, even though like I'm getting like more likes than him, and he's obviously getting notified that I'm commenting on him, and he's ignoring me. And then he finally got fed up, and he was like, "I'm not going to talk to you." And I was like, well, "What's your point about having a conversation then?" It's just
Yeah,
funny.
I wonder,
these
have you
people aren't
guys,
serious. Like they aren't real. I don't believe they're real.
have you guys like tried to like directly contact the guy through Twitter or something?
No, I haven't anyway.
I haven't, and I don't intend to, because
think
again,
it's gonna be worth
I'm not looking for an apology. Like I don't. The damage has been done, and to some degree, again, the fact that he has removed that part of the video means that at the very least, the content is not on YouTube anymore. So it's like, he can say, yeah, sorry about that, but that doesn't really change anything. So
No.
I have no intention of contacting him.
No, I'm just not that interested. I'd be happy to have him on the stream if you ever wanted to come on. I'd like to have a conversation with him. I think it could be interesting. It's just that it does tend to be the people who advertise their openness to conversation are the people least likely to have one, because then it might dispel some preconceptions that they and their audience have about people. It never tends to end well, because if they come in thinking that you're this evil like devil, and then they realize that you're not, then they've just spent hours of their time hating a fiction, basically, which is why they very rarely will accept invitations to conversation like that. That being said, invitation is open. If he ever sees this and wants to chat, more than happy to have that conversation. It might, come with the prerequisite of a small apology first, but nevertheless, be open.
Platoon, I just want to highlight a comment from chat. Larry says, hit on him to prove to him you're gay.
Oh, that would be very funny. I'll just camp it up the entire time.
Just reply to no. From here on out, I want you to like turn notifications on for his channel, and then just comment every time and just say, "Hey, cutie." Just torments him.
Oh, that would be very funny. But yeah, but like by contrast, I've streamed with most of the people he mentions, and you know, but like for all their vociferous and forthright in their views, and I'm sure we'd find plenty to disagree on if we actually did talk as much politics as he seems to think we do. You know, people like Drinker, Water, Gary, and Shad, they're really nice people, and they've always been very open and welcoming, and I've always had great time streaming with them. And like, yeah, I imagine like Shad would have moral and ethical disagreements with me, just as I would have mean things to say about Mormonism, because it's Mormonism. Who doesn't have mean things to say about it? But it's like you can have these conversations quite nicely and openly and politely if you don't think the person you're opposite from is actual Satan, which a lot of people have convinced themselves that anyone to the right of Lenin is. So yeah, they're all nice people from where I sit.
Yeah, I mean, of those, the only one that I've spoken to is Mauler, and yeah, he's great. He's extremely friendly, and I mean, he might, if he is the devil, he's doing a very good job of hiding it. I will say that.
But that's what the devil would do, isn't it? He's that's yeah, that is the devil.
That's true.
The devil is a trickster. EFAP is the satanic horde, confirmed.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah. Well, anything left to be said about this strange, peculiar person, or is there anything else anyone wants to bring up?
No. I thought it was surprising that it was a 1 million subscriber channel, because I've had people make videos about me, but when I clicked on it, I was like, oh, this guy has 1 million fucking subscribers. What the fuck's he doing? What the fuck?
I was surprised because I was just going to ignore it. It had been like, because I ignore lots of people. There's loads of people on Twitter. Reddit, there's a sub faction of Reddit that really doesn't like me, and they are completely irrelevant people. Hello, Saltier Than Crate. I see you over there. Love you lots. They're absolute. I don't know, because they think that I'm an evil right wing person. They think.
What? I thought their whole thing is hating Star Wars. You hate Star Wars too. How is this? What's
maybe it's the other? So there probably are many Salty. This is the one that just hates like YouTube people who don't like Star Wars, because they have the thing. I think the last time I checked their front page, it still has some like fake Star Wars opening crawl attacking critics of The Last Jedi. Like it's that level of complete cultural irrelevance. Hey again, guys. I really like you. So yeah, like
Saltier Than Crate was created after The Last Jedi to make fun of The Last Jedi specifically. I think there is another one that's a parody of that does the opposite.
It might be that. I don't even know, because they are irrelevant, but I ignore them all the time. I just occasionally become aware of them. Because like once or twice someone finds their way into my comment section, and it's like someone's just stumbled outside for the first time in 15 years. But you ignore those people all the time. But then, and so I was going to ignore this guy because I had no idea who he was. But then, yeah, I looked at the subscriber and I was like, holy fuck, that's actually a fairly significant person, apparently. Or at least some people seem to think he is. Probably worth paying attention to.
Dave he makes a good point. It's like the worst thing you can possibly do to let him know.
Just acknowledge that.
Let them know that you saw it. Like,
it's occasional. Like I allot myself maybe 5 minutes of the day to go through looking for idiots in my comment section, just to confirm that I'm awake and my sense of humor is functioning. It's a good little way of waking up. I like it. So that's where they fit into my day.
Yeah, I got that. I turned off notifications immediately because I saw someone responded to I responded to them. And they were like, oh my God, what I said must have really pissed you off to actually respond to me. And I was like, you're actually just the first comment I saw. And it was a really stupid comment. So I decided to respond. Like the death threat that I posted on Twitter, I said that's only the second one I've seen recently. I don't know how many I've actually gotten. There's like 3,000 comments. Half of them could be death threats for all I know. I don't know.
Dude, just ask them. What do you want to put on my tombstone, dog?
Probably like, bro. Did bro really just say bro?
That is the unwritten rule. Like any sentence that begins with bro can just be dismissed.
Bro.
Almost bro or bruh.
I invited.
Listen, bro.
I invited. I didn't even realize what it was until yesterday. Some channel with like 750,000 subscribers commented on the Godzilla video, and I told him, and of course he said bro at the
Bro.
So I told him I invited him onto the stream today. I didn't
Oh,
get a response.
Oh,
I was like, you can
Bro.
come on and talk about I was like, well, you don't even have to debate the movie because you will lose within 30 seconds if you try to tell me this is an objectively good movie. But if you want to talk about the movie with us, you can. No response.
Yeah.
that's a shame.
Yeah.
He'll tell you he didn't see your DM. Then after that, he'll be like, then after that, he'll say, well, come on next week. It's like, no, I'm busy. It's like next week.
Oh,
"No,
okay.
I'm sorry.
and then blocked.
Yep.
It
Yeah,
is.
the
It is
internet.
crazy how like very, very angry people get if you criticize Godzilla. So, yeah, I'm looking
The
forward to this
smooth
week.
brain
Monkey
just
movie,
like becomes prominent.
That's very surprising to me as someone who knows very little about. Like, I'm absolutely a normie when it comes to Godzilla, and I would have guessed that because kind of like, I guess, Transformers, because of how like self-evidently absurd the movies are, you
Mhm.
would, or I assumed that the people that like them are kind of aware. They're like, yeah, we know, but like, it's fun. Just kind of enjoy.
Yeah, I
it.
love them.
Like-
They're the best schlop ever made. I love Michael Bay.
Yeah, Michael Bay's fine in moderation. Michael Bay, yeah, he's made two really good movies. Apart from that, it becomes the okay in moderation deal, I
Yeah, it
think.
becomes the entertaining, but turn off your brain to entertain yourself.
Yes.
That's it.
I just like hearing Optimus Prime saying that he's killing everyone.
And saying
And that he's coming. I'm coming.
coming. It's like,
Let them come.
let them
Yeah.
come.
just in Transformers was kind of peak Michael Bay, dude.
Oh,
Yeah, I think all the criticism from the Godzilla x Kong people is kind of the same people that are like, oh, reject reject modernity, embrace monkey. It's like, yeah, the same people, dude. So it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Listen, the movie is yeah. I don't even want to talk about Godzilla
I
X.
just- I'm really taken with the idea that there's a group of people out there called the Trad Kongs now. That's good.
Yeah.
How about
embrace
the 1997/8? I can't remember. Roland Emmerich Godzilla.
98?
98.
Oh yes.
It's
I
fantastic.
like it. Yeah, I love it. I think it's one of my guilty pleasure movies, dude.
The
If it
movie
wasn't
is-
called Godzilla, people would have appreciated the movie more.
Why? It's fucking boring.
What?
It's
No,
too-
man.
No, at best, it's boring. It's 2.5 hours. It's really fucking boring. And
But you've gotta
How
see-
long?
all of the characters are just cutouts. Like they're all stereotypes, cartoon characters. Like
Yeah, it's,
all
Mark-
the
Mark,
all
uh,
the
Mark
New
Populis
Yorkers
is
are
the
very
pilot.
Italian there, and all the
Hey,
French people
gabagool.
drink. They drink a French roast.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, you've got a scene where all the helicopters are chasing Godzilla, and they could have like flown, above the skyline and like seen where Godzilla is, because obviously he's the
But
size
they're
of
like,
Godzilla.
no, let's.
But then no, we're going to go like in between all the skyscrapers and fly around, and then they'll lose Godzilla because they can't look up or down,
Yep.
and then Godzilla will sneak up on the helicopters and eat them because they didn't fly where a helicopter would fly.
Don't they shoot the top off the Empire State Building and just describe it as a negative impact? Is that a thing that happens in
It's the
that film?
Chrysler building.
Yeah, it's the
Oh,
Chrysler
Chrysler
building.
That's the
And-
one.
So I went to New York last year on my honeymoon, and I was just like, wow, I'm remembering all of this Godzilla stuff because I remember the movie from when I was a kid. And yeah, Godzilla. What's the other one? Day After Tomorrow is obviously set
yes.
in Manhattan.
Weirdly
There's going to be a
enough,
whole
I
bunch
love
of
Day
movies.
After
But, yeah.
Tomorrow, man. I used to watch Day After Tomorrow. I guess every week with my dad because we had it on DVD and it was like one of our guilty pleasure movies. For some reason, I don't know why, my dad loves Roland Emmerich disaster movies, and like it's just his guilty pleasure because he knows a good movie when he sees one, and he knows that they're shitty movies, but he just loves watching them. So it's like, yeah, Day After Tomorrow. I've watched it so many times to the point
Yep.
where I'm totally biased. I couldn't even tell you if it's like really bad or not. It's melted that side of my brain. It's like, yep, that's it.
That was another movie I had left the theater early. I did not like that movie at all.
Was
Yeah,
it when
Mark.
you got to the CGI wolves thing? 'Cause
Yes,
that's
it was actually.
I knew
It fucking was. That's when I said, "All right, guys, can
Sounds
we
like peak.
leave?" And we all left. Yeah.
Yeah, run
That's
away from
hilarious
ice,
that
ladies
you
and
said
gentlemen.
that. That was the moment.
Day After Tomorrow. I do again. It's a guilty pleasure type movie, and I think for the most part, it's pretty well done. It's entertaining in a turn your brain off kind of way. But it at the same time is like it's got to be the go-to example of shit. We need a third act. There's wolves.
Yeah.
We need medicine. Oh,
Yeah,
random wolves? Sure.
It's for anyone who hasn't seen it. I'm guessing everyone in chat's seen it, but yeah, you've got
Yeah. they have-
the girl gets injured, and then there's a boat suddenly, and then there's also wolves, and it's just third act go.
Yeah, don't forget that to escape the ice age, all you need to do is break some furniture and turn on the fireplace. Even
God,
though
yes.
the ice was basically eating every single thing in its path. It's like, all
Yeah.
right, yeah, cool. Fireplace is enough.
This
And you have
chimney
the bit-
probably hasn't been used in 100 years, and it's absolutely fine and you don't die of smoke inhalation, and the snow in the air doesn't get in, and the cold air cyclone doesn't extinguish your fire. It's fucking mad. What it needs is one of those like text things at the bottom though that reads, "This is what Al Gore actually believes."
I just remember there's the bit where the cold actually chases them down the hallway.
It does.
Yeah. Running from the fucking cold.
It's chasing them down the hallway. Although, like Roland Emmerich, as much as I think his movies are absolutely stupid, the production value is crazy because the initial tsunami sequence in Manhattan still holds up today. It's really, really good. But then it's like the rest, yeah. 2012 was the last big budget destruction movie that he made that was actually decent until the third act.
I would say Independence
watched
Day
it.
still holds up. That movie fucking owns.
Unlike Independence Day Resurgence, which very much does not.
No, it does
even
not.
begin.
No.
It's not that it doesn't hold up. It's just that it's never up to begin with. I mean, it's awful from like beginning to end, bad. And then is it Moonfall, the one that comes after that?
I was
which
about
is-
to mention Moonfall. That's
My
so
goodness,
funny. That movie.
that is certainly a film.
The moon. Oh my god! Because obviously the concept of the film is that the moon is going to fall. It's kind of in the title. And when you're watching like the first part of the film, you're like, how on earth are they going to make the moon fall? You know, and you're coming up with these ideas. And I've done this experiment on some friends where I've just told them, right, moonfall, go. How does the moon fall? And everything they come up with is less dumb than what actually happens in the movie.
Yep.
It's so insane.
Fucking AI, dude. It's just alien AI.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's like you just say, well, okay, so first off, the moon isn't the moon. And it's all right, stop right there. I'm done.
Yep. That's it.
Yeah,
It's,
isn't it like
the
Hollow?
moon is a super planet.
It's they describe it as a superstructure. I mean, this is straight up spoilers for Moonfall, but I somehow doubt anyone cares. They describe it as a superstructure where what we have understood to be the moon is actually a artificially created space entity, I guess, that was deliberately put there.
Yep.
I can't remember the plot specifics as to who put it there and why, but
The humans themselves put it there. So humans put it there, and humans were using these weird AI thingies that can like whisk in the wind. It's basically visible wind. That's AI, and so they were using them as like house like things to take care of your house, and they just revolted. And that was it. Like, it's so stupid. You can't even explain it.
And the humans forgot that they made the moon?
No, it's like
Basically-
ancient humans, I think is the idea.
Okay.
Not like cavemen, like we're talking like the humans are originally not from Earth kind of thing, and then they went to Earth, and then they put a moon there so that if anything went wrong, they could crash the moon into the Earth. It's something like that.
Okay.
It's so inefficient. Why would you do that? There are so many ways you can correct that mistake without turning the moon into a giant hollow AI that will crash into the Earth.
I know.
It's
This sounds like
insane.
conspiracy. This sounds like a conspiracy theory.
Dude, you watched too much Ancient Aliens. That was it.
What's really crazy though is that the director of all of these films, Godzilla 98, Independence Day Resurgent, 2012, Moonfall, he's the guy they tapped to direct Stonewall, the docudrama origin story of the Stonewall riots that started the gay rights movement.
Wait, really?
Here's a film, Roland Emmerich, you have to do. You have no CGI budget. and you're using real people, and you have to actually tell a story. It's like, why would you pick him of all
Now,
people?
Wait, has that come out yet? Or
Oh, it came out ages ago. I've never seen it, but it just sounded funny to me.
Okay.
It's
I'm
like
gonna go watch
picking
it.
Michael Bay to direct like a sincere World War II, like Auschwitz liberation
Oh my
documentary or
God.
something. It's just
Michael Bay does Schindler's List Part 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say that would be crazy.
everything just explodes for no reason. It's just-
That's the finale.
You just have Liam Neeson. He's just there. He's like he just reprises his role from Taken, basically. That he's just gonna go save the Jewish people. That's
I'm just thinking now, like he could put in a scene where they like rig the gas chambers to explode or something stupid. Like there's your explosion, Michael Bay.
you
Oh
fire
my
a proton torpedo down the chimney. Yeah,
Oh my God.
bang. Ah, that's a film I'd pay to watch. That would be hilarious.
Sounds more entertaining than Schindler's List
Yes.
in a different way.
Megan Fox as Anne Frank, says chat.
Oh God.
With Linkin Park in the soundtrack.
Dude, you just put it at the end where it's like Liam Neeson is just talking. It's like to anyone in the camps who don't have hope. I am coming. I will save you. What?
Oh,
What have we
that's,
done?
that's such a good film idea.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Now that is an AI prompt.
I was going to say one day with AI we can make this film.
Yeah, someone bookmark this and in 20 years come back to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Chat, clip it and ship it.
Dude,
Oh,
you're
well,
just
at least
fucking
we've given
realistic.
Hello Future Me ample opportunity to say that we're all evil right-wing people now, because we've
Oh,
just
yeah.
spent however long it is just taking the piss out of. Yeah. Oh well. There it is. Maybe he was right after all.
Maybe.
Anything else that anyone wanted to bring up? Or should we get on with the final super chats and call it tonight? Was there anything else pressing?
Nothing else. I can't believe we got 2 hours and 20 minutes out of just those two topics. Actually, kind
Cynic,
of.
have you seen the Maxine trailer?
Yes.
Ooh.
I'm really surprised. They're kind of going way bigger than I anticipated.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
once it starts and you see the A24 logo as the Hollywood sign, I was like, yep, A24 knows their cinema.
Yeah, they
Basically
know.
it.
They know who they are.
Mhm.
Yeah, involving the Night Stalker, it's almost like the second half of Tarantino's career where you started like involving real world scenarios. I that really caught me by surprise. I'm super excited for that. I'm really
Same.
excited.
Because it looks very different from X and Pearl. So
Yeah, those were
I'm
so
actually happy.
small scale in
Yeah,
comparison.
especially Pearl. I think Pearl was in my opinion, I think Pearl is the smallest scale.
Yeah, definitely.
And plus, it's weird because they don't really appeal to the same audiences. I know some people who watch X probably don't like Pearl, and some people who watch Pearl probably don't like X for sure because it's just so different but similar at the same time. It's interesting to see what Ty West has done with his career.
They're like for pure cinephiles.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because it's
Mhm.
because it goes through so many genres almost.
yeah. It's interesting to see what he's done with his career in such a short amount of time too. Because the first time I ever saw him was in shit, I forget the name of the movie. Man, he gets killed in the movie. Actually, he wasn't even the director. I think he was like a co-writer. So they gave him a cameo as the boyfriend, and he just gets an arrow to the head at the beginning of the movie. That was the first time I ever saw Ty West.
Mhm.
Shit, I forget the name. I'll find it somewhere. But yeah, it's like it's so good to just see great slashers coming out. And from A24
Thoughtful ones
nonetheless.
too. I don't often. Anytime I've shown X and Pearl to people, not often do they like both. I
Mhm.
think that's a good observation because they are so different. I mean, yeah, they're both horror movies, but they don't even remotely look the same. The Pearl's much more appealing to I don't know, aesthetically, I think it's closer to like Wizard of Oz or something, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then X is much more like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre type.
Yep, 100%. I totally agree with you, man. I'm really waiting to see what Maxine delivers. I hope that the script is good, but no doubt, because Pearl was an improvement on X, so
Yeah,
I
it
just think
was.
it's gonna get
I think so.
better. And Mia Goth, man, I'm just waiting for her performance as well. It looks good.
Yeah, if the movie is received well, I would really appreciate if she finally got some acknowledgement for acting chops, because she's been killing it the last few years.
Yeah, she's basically just one of the in the new generation of Scream Queens. So there's like there's Samara Weaving, Mia Goth, and Jenna Ortega are basically the new generation of Scream Queens. So I hope that she gets more recognition. But she's also a very weird looking person, man. I can't
Yeah,
lie.
she's so unique. Yeah, she's very unique looking. That's
she
for
has
sure.
like no eyebrows.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah. She's a bit like weird too in interviews and stuff. I mean, I'd be weird too if I was married to Shia LaBeouf, man.
Yeah, that fucking guy.
But she's married to Shy? Oh my
Yeah,
Yeah,
God.
dude.
yeah.
Since,
They have a
since, like
kid together too, I think.
2015 or 16, dude.
Yeah.
That's some
So.
crazy lore.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, deep cut.
That is a
Wait.
deep cut.
So he'll probably get it done, dude. Send Michael Bay a DM on Instagram. He's probably just cooking up some stuff. I remember one day I saw his Instagram story, and it was him in his pool. And what he was saying was like, "I'm just trying to come up with new action scenes, and that's how I'll define my next movie." And then the next movie that came out was Ambulance. It was like,
Oh
all
my
right,
God.
I don't know, man.
That movie had, again, like some idea. Like if that movie had been handled by someone that wasn't Michael Bay, it could have been quite a lot of fun. But
Oh yeah,
he relied way too heavily on like this obnoxious drone shot that he kept doing.
yes,
It was like he had very obviously just bought a drone and was like, "Look what I can do."
dude. The Gray Man did that too. I don't know what's going on with people in drone shots, but in I think 2022, there were so many action movies that I saw that just had these very weird, out of place drone shots, and I was like, "What the fuck are you guys doing? To just use a normal camera, come on, or use a helicopter. You literally have a dozen in the movie. Just strap a camera onto one of those." It's like, nope, we wanted to hire drone people, but
there are some really cool things that you can do with drones, like the shot that just sticks in my brain. If any of you have seen Free Solo, the climbing documentary. So yeah, it's a guy that Free Solo climbed.
Yeah, I watched that.
Yeah.
Alex Honnold, right?
Alex Honnold's the guy's name. Yeah, I forget the name of the peak exactly. But yeah.
El Capitan?
Yes,
I think or El Cap or something like that.
I think it was. And like right at the end, spoiler alert, he doesn't die. Right at the end when he's at the top, there's just this incredibly effective drone shot that just starts with him at the top and it just goes out, and then you gradually see the entire wall that he just climbed. Like there is no other way to capture that kind of shot other than to stick it on a drone, unless you're going to dick around with visual effects or whatever. So, that kind of thing has its purpose, but then you give it to Michael Bay and he's just treating it like a I mean, I'm just thinking like, there's like drone racing POV videos that are on YouTube where you just have like a GoPro and it's just that, but as part of a movie.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
It's every shot in his films is just trying to grab your attention. That was a huge problem that I had with, I don't know if anyone saw it, Six Underground, the Michael Bay film.
Yes. Yep. That's true.
Every single shot, the camera is moving, and every single shot, he's treating it as if it is supposed to grab your attention, like it's the most important thing ever. There is no downtime. And as a result, the film was just like a concentrated headache.
Yeah, I agree with that. Six Underground was special the way that they filmed the movie. I thought it was entertaining, but it's so weird, man. Michael Bay he's just trying everything he can at this point, and they're still giving him a ton of money to do so. Well, I mean, he's his own producer, anyways.
Yes, yeah.
I forgot what it's called, like Bay Productions or something like that. I forget.
Bay Productions.
Yeah, well, he's always being produced by what's his name? Oh, dude, Jerry Bruckheimer. Jerry Bruckheimer is always backing him up, anyways. So it's like, yep, there's always a constant flow of money. But yeah, Bayhem is something else, man. Should bring him back to the Bad Boys. Too bad. But yeah, Cynic, that was the only thing I wanted to bring up, the Maxine trailer to see if you'd seen it.
Yeah. Definitely looking forward to that. That's been my most anticipated movie of the year since it was announced, I'd say.
Yeah, it's true. It's been a long time coming, actually.
Like a couple of years now.
Well, since Pearl got because the X and Pearl were filmed at the same time, so there was a short delay between the two. Then this one, it's been years. Yep, 2 years. 2 years since 2 years since Pearl, but 3 years since they announced it. So it's been a while.
It's gonna be good.
Well, just before we move on to the super chats proper, I am slightly behind on the main chat, so I may have missed a couple of things. But if Catch Out in the chat is still in the chat, if you want to hit me up on Twitter and send me a DM, and we can have a chat. That's if you're up for doing that, if you're still in the chat, let me know, we'll talk. But I think if we move on to super chats, then the final ones that we've got left, we have my keyboard is now broken. Fantastic. There we go. KCA's 128 for $4.99. Hi all, I'm seeing Hans Zimmer live in September. Top 3 Hans Zimmer scores are Lion King's and Last Samurai scores, underappreciated by fans today.
Oh, dude, you're gonna love Hans Zimmer live. I saw him last year in Montpellier, live with his entire band. Fucking fantastic, dude. Some of the best 2 hours of my life. And the show that he puts on, the dude is a showman. Seriously. Especially for the Dune soundtrack. Holy shit, dude. And the Interstellar soundtrack, the amount of performance that he brings in. I'm not going to spoil anything because he's probably going to do the same thing there. But yeah, man, you're in for a treat, especially if you're sitting front row or in the middle. Great. I don't know. Do you guys want me to go first for the scores, or?
Yeah, why not? You seem to know what you're talking about. Hans Zimmer stuff all blends into one for me, with the occasional exception. But we'll get there. But yeah, what are your favorite 3 Hans Zimmer scores?
Number 1 is Inception. So from best to worst for me. Number 1, Inception. I don't know. I just fucking love it. Number 2 is probably Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest, specifically with Davy Jones. And number 3, I don't know, dude. Even though Man of Steel is a trash movie, I think Man of Steel's score is so recognizable and it's so good too. It's just So yeah, those would be my top 3. Although I do think The Last Samurai is underappreciated, and I don't think Lion King's score is underappreciated. Everyone knows that one, but people just don't know that it's Hans Zimmer. But yeah.
How much of Pirates was Hans Zimmer? Because I thought it was Klaus Badelt mainly, and then Hans Zimmer helped.
That was the first. That was the first one, is my understanding.
Okay.
The second one and the third one, I believe, was entirely Hans Zimmer. I could be wrong. Apart from the themes that it reused.
Yeah.
Okay. Andrew, what's your top 3 if you have one?
Number 1, Dune Part 2. Number 2, Dune Part 1. Number
Can
3,
are there any can you hum me anything from Dune?
Well, there's there's Arrival, which is that guitar theme when the big worm comes up. That one's good. Do you want me to hum it? I don't know. I'm not here to put on a show.
I mean, there's the one that starts off with the vocals that kind of go like that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, and then there's from the
Sardaukar chant. Yes,
yeah, the Sardaukar. I really like the Paul and Chani love theme. I like that one. And the symphonic stuff in Part 2 is really good. But I also remember it just because after the movie I immediately started listening to the entire soundtrack on repeat while I was writing my script. So
Dune is out on digital, right?
Yes, I think I'm.
Is it
really?
Yeah,
you have to go back and check our box office predictions, by the way.
But they've stretched out the IMAX for I think 2 more weeks.
The
news broke out today, I think. So yeah, but I don't know. It came out on digital yesterday for me, so just I'm probably gonna watch it in 10 years.
I'm surprised Warner Brothers actually making a smart decision, like keeping it in theaters.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah, but it's annoying because it delays its release to digital, which means like it's even
Yeah.
longer before I can use it in my video, which means yeah. Oh well.
Well,
On the other hand, it gives me an
now you
excuse to
can.
delay it even longer. Yeah. I'm actually trying to remember what Hans Zimmer's done. Back to the question.
Prince of Egypt.
Loads.
He's done Prince
Oh,
of Egypt.
Prince of Egypt is
Gladiator.
up there for me, definitely.
I forgot about that one. That is a good one.
Gladiator, the 2013 Lone Ranger.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, Wonder Woman.
No.
Oh,
Going
dude, the
back
Wonder
to-
Woman score is fine.
Modern
No.
Warfare 2.
I hate
Call of
I hate
Duty.
the Wonder Woman soundtrack so much. It's just for 3 hours.
Oh, and
straight.
then the war crimes music, or is that the war crimes music? The one that that is the war crimes music, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Oh,
I
and then
heard
there's
that
another
in
one which is like
concert.
yodeling in the Snyder cut. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I don't know. Why do people
God,
think Wonder
yeah.
Woman is a good movie? So many people think it's a good
Why
movie.
do
It's
why
like,
do people think Zack Snyder's Justice League's a good movie?
I don't know.
Because
People are like,
every time
"Aw."
you see Wonder Woman on screen, you have the
They're like, oh,
Sounds pretty
DC
accurate,
movies
honestly.
suck, but Wonder Woman's good.
Wonder Woman's
Excuse
the
me?
good one. No.
Hello, no.
If anything, the good one's like maybe Shazam. Like maybe.
I don't think I've ever seen Shazam, dude. Really? If I have, I've probably forgotten about it.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think I have, but I don't remember it.
Yeah,
He did the
that's
Thin Red Line, the score
that's the
for the Thin
greatest
Red Line,
compliment.
which is pretty good.
I mean, I can throw out, like, I can't give 3 because I just love Hans Zimmer. I can give out 7.
Yeah.
Some of them have already been mentioned. We got Inception is number 1 because for me that is one of the best soundtracks of all time.
Thank
I think.
you.
The Rock, going back to Michael Bay.
Oh yeah, that's true.
His soundtrack for The Rock is brilliant. Interstellar,
Oh yeah.
Prince of Egypt, the Dune 1 and 2, The Lion King, and Blade Runner 2049. That he did with someone else, but yeah, those would be my favorites.
I loved his score for The Dark Knight specifically. Out of those,
I don't remember which one the Dark Knight is for score because I remember Dark Knight Rises with the Tushi Basa. You know when he's climbing out of the cave.
that's good. I just loved his score for. I'm a sucker for simplicity. Like the White Stripes are my favorite band ever. So I loved his simple score for the Joker. It was just like 2 notes, but it's super memorable. Like whenever he's on screen, it's super unsettling. Okay, well, and you know that's an argument against Hans Zimmer often, right? Is that he's more of like a mood kind of guy. It's not really
It's more of like a mixer or
atmosphere,
something like that.
He does
yeah.
soundscapes, not soundtracks, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is, to be fair, I would make that argument for. Like, I think he does very impressive soundscapes. Like Dune is an impressive soundscape. I wouldn't rank it anywhere near. I don't even know if I'd be fairly called it a soundtrack. Like, there's nothing in it that I sort of vibe with particularly. It does really good, like a really good job fleshing out the world it's a part of, which is fantastic. It's just completely otherwise unmemorable. Whereas I think I'd probably lean more toward his like more strictly thematic stuff. So yeah, Pirates definitely, Interstellar's good, Gladiator, even the Da Vinci Code I think has quite at least a nice main theme.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The music cynic.
I'll have to one day. I'll have to actually play guitar on stream, I guess.
Ooh, is it gonna be real guitar or air guitar? Just gonna pull
No,
fast
I play real guitar. I haven't played air guitar.
He's
in
gonna
some
play.
time.
He's gonna play Guitar Hero.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, Guitar Hero stream.
I
What
used
guitar do you have?
in the old office. I had guitars back here. Now that's in
Ooh.
another room.
First
You're
BSUP
lucky.
gaming is gonna be Platoon versus Cynic, and they're gonna play Guitar Hero against each other.
Yeah.
No, I don't like Guitar Hero at all.
Oh my god!
I don't
Of course
either.
you know
No.
it's the fuck. My friend that I lived with for ages used to play it religiously, and I looked at him and thought, "Why aren't you just learning actual guitar?
Yeah.
Just the amount of
It's-
time you
there's-
spend."
but there's the colors on screen platoon.
Yeah, you have a,
Right,
you have a
yeah.
crowd in front of you,
When
which
it
is hard
comes
to get.
to remember what was it called? It was the full band one.
Rock Band?
Rock Band. Yeah. That was actually really good for learning the basics and fundamentals of drums, actually.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. It had, like, when it comes to guitar, it was not guitar, but you can't help like, that was the thing. You inadvertently have to learn how to play drums by playing this game because there is no other way to, like, fake it, I guess.
So
the guitar part's good for finger dexterity, but it's apply it to something good. Don't apply it to that fucking game.
Listen, it fuels my narcissism, all right? Which is why it's a great game, all right? Why do you think I'm a YouTuber?
I believe there was a game that came out afterwards called, I think it was Rocksmith, and the idea with that was that you plug an actual guitar into it. And then somehow, I've never used it, but somehow it would like convert the notes that you're playing into MIDI, and then it would be able to actually tell you if you are hitting the notes. So that, I mean, yeah, it's a game, but it is also some kind of learning tool.
Yeah.
Like that to me makes a little bit more sense. But yeah, I can see why Rock Band and Guitar Hero were as popular as they are, but not particularly useful for actually playing.
Games don't have to be educational.
Sure, but if they are, it can be a bonus if they are, is all I would say.
Tank Imperative for $20 communist dollars. Cheers, lads. The fact he deleted it without a retraction is a great example, either a lack of moral character or cowardice. Not to mention the lying by omission, complete lack of self-awareness, and blatant hypocrisy. I think, that sums it up pretty nicely from where I'm sitting. Maybe there's an innocent explanation. Maybe he'll correct the record. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see. I doubt it. Drew Gordon, member for 3 months. What does Platoon have against Kurt Vonnegut? Nothing. I have nothing against Kurt Vonnegut. He's just an example of a postmodern writer. And given I was talking about postmodern writers, my editor decided he would be a good person to use, and I agreed as the companion footage for all of 2 seconds. But I thought, it's been ages since I've read Vonnegut. Slaughterhouse 5 is Vonnegut, isn't it, I think?
Yes.
I remember liking that way back when I first read it, which is also the only time I've ever read it. So no, nothing at all against Mr. Vonnegut. Ran out of channel names for $5. Little Platoon isn't a Jewish American who works for the Daily Wire. No, I am not. Sorry to disappoint any of you who subscribed and have paid money under that pretense, but I am not those things. There are no refunds though, so tough. M8566 for $5. First, you listen to Little Platoon, then Ben Shapiro, and before you know it, you're storming the Capitol.
Amen, brother, as the founding fathers intended.
Can absolutely confirm. I'm very glad that they think they found the people who instigated that, because that means they haven't found the person who actually instigated it, which of course was me. My Discord is absolutely wild.
That's that British long game. We'll get revenge on you Americans. Yes.
We burned the White House once before. We'll do it again. Only this time.
Just a seed. I fucking knew it.
This is why it's always bad to make throwaway comments on stream. You have to substantiate them, unless you're, hello future me. Mega Spidey Man for €2. What were the toxic politics in V for Vendetta? Now, it's been a long time, to be fair, since I've ever spoken about V for Vendetta or watched it. What I remember it being when I rewatched it like 4 or 5 years ago was quite, it's very obviously of its time, right? But that comes out in 2003. I think it is around that period. So it plays quite heavily on like this idea of false flag terrorist attacks being the excuse for government overreach, passing massive legislation to take away the rights, freedoms, and liberties of the people. So it's sort of contextually tied to things like the Patriot Act, which emerged after 9/11. It's glorification of revolution for revolution's sake, which is always a thing with vaguely left-wing people who like to think that revolutions are a cool, fun, stylish thing. Never really seem to grapple too much with the fact that they invariably eat their own. So if you place it in its proper context and you sort of link some of the specific messages, the fact that it's very, very soft, for instance, on the Quran and on Islam, that Stephen Fry's character has a secret copy of the Quran because he enjoys and appreciates its beauty. At the same time as the principal villains of the piece are portrayed as being Bible-bashing, tub-thumping, shock jock types on the internet and on television. it sort of forms the basis of their propaganda. It's very sort of edgy, early 2000s left-wing countercultural stuff, which seems innocuous at the time. And now we're in 2024, when a lot of it is quite less innocuous than it might have appeared to be at the time. So, like, again, having said all of that, I enjoy that film. I think it's a really well put together film, and I will happily rewatch it. It's just that if you make like political analysis as part of your media critique, then it's the kind of thing that I think probably doesn't get talked about enough. Is that the Wachowskis are very deliberately, and Alan Moore to a lesser extent, is playing on the oeuvre of the time, shall we say, and making some points that I think perhaps might be regretted if they were to take them seriously. But again, it's been ages since I've seen it. I could be completely wrong about all of that, but that's what I remember taking away from the previous watch of it. Cynic, do you want to take this one for me?
Larry for $5. The YouTube algorithm served the video to your audiences too. I believe this is referring to probably when I was talking about the Godzilla video. Yeah, but I see the analytics, so I know.
No, I think he's talking about the Hello Future Me video.
Oh, well, maybe, I don't know. I saw when this one came in, and it was around, like we were talking about a couple things. So I don't know. Larry will probably let us know though. But thanks for the super chat, Larry.
Andrew, can you take this one?
Yeah. Pierced by Light for a communist $5. Full on lefty here, but I hate bad stories, which is why I watch these woke bros. I get to avoid crap movies. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Or TV shows.
A lot of TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
Way more TV shows than movies actually are trash nowadays. Holy
It's going to be
shit.
a good year for those as well, and it's going to be a big TV year given the number of adaptations.
Oh yeah, we got Jonathan Nolan doing Fallout. Well, we'll see how he handles it, because
that has
Westworld wasn't really good.
I will simp for her in that show. The show will be perfect.
Who does it have?
Ella Purnell.
Who the hell is that?
I know that name. Ella Purnell voices Jinx in Arcane. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's the girl from Army of the Dead. Yeah, she played the daughter.
Terrible movie. I think that might be Zack Snyder's worst movie, but she was hot. I'm not gonna lie.
But she was hot, baby.
Yeah, Rebel Moon exists, but I got together with some friends and we're like, okay, for some reason, Zack Snyder thinks not Dawn of the Dead, Army of the Dead is canon to Rebel Moon. So we're gonna watch this movie just to see if there's any connection to it. He said this, yeah. He said like, oh yeah, Army of the Dead is canon to Rebel Moon, and it's in the same universe. So we watched it, and I think it might be worse than Rebel Moon. It's from front to back. It is just the most atrocious character work, and I didn't know. I honestly didn't think he had it in him to make something worse, but I was my breath was taken away by Zack Snyder once again.
So I've seen Army of the Dead, and it was longer ago that I saw it than when I saw Rebel Moon, and I didn't watch it as closely. But you say that Army of the Dead has like terrible character work. Rebel Moon doesn't have character work.
Yeah, that's true.
That would be the distinction I would make.
It's so like in terms of its like world consistency, it breaks all of its world consistency, and it introduces ideas and never touches them ever. Like there's an idea like in this universe of zombies, they can give birth.
Oh God, don't remind me of that. I forgot about that. Jesus.
Yeah, there's that, and then some of them are robots for no reason.
Oh yeah, some of the zombies in Army of the Dead were robots, but you never explained it. You just see zombies get shot.
Sorry, they were robots. I don't remember this.
Yeah, so some of them would get shot, and you would see like robotic pieces of metal and sparks come off of them, and some of them had blue eyes for no reason. And then he was like, "Yeah, some of them are robots because I'm gonna do another movie about them." And then, it's incomprehensible.
Yeah, so okay, I have the quote from Snyder. Army of the Dead has a pretty vast mythology that never made it into the movie. There's actually a character from Rebel Moon in the Army of the Dead animated series that we never made. It's like, what the fuck?
What? How? That doesn't make sense. What characters in Rebel Moon are there that are like immortal and can live for thousands of years?
Rebel Moon is probably like the future of the world of Army of the Dead. It's like, I don't
Right.
know, dude.
But the
Snyder is up
only-
his own ass.
Unless Rebel Moon takes place like what 40 to 50 years after Army of the Dead, which there's no way, that's not how that works. Then the only character,
got it.
unless I'm missing one, the only character that it could be is the robot.
Yeah, I was gonna say the robot. It's
Maybe.
that robot guy that's just like, I've gone.
Listen, next
God,
thing you
it's
know, he'll
insane.
just say Sucker Punch is in the same universe as Rebel Moon. So just don't take anything he says seriously, man.
For my script for Rebel Moon, that's turned into rambling about farming that will never be released, but hopefully gets released. I might talk about any connection it has to Army of the Dead, which is like barely any. Like
It's actually been this secret underground campaign the whole time. When everyone says like restore the Snyderverse, everyone just thinks they mean the DC comics, but actually the Snyderverse is everything. It's all connected.
it's
Army of the Dead,
Everyone's
Justice League, the Sucker
300.
Punch,
300 's
Rebel
the first one.
300. It all began in ancient Sparta,
With
and it's ended
Leonidas.
on whatever the fuck that planet's called.
Wait,
in
so
Rebel Moon. I
even
don't
Dawn
know.
of the Dead is connected?
Yes,
Oh,
all of
no.
it.
Dawn
This
of
is
the Dead
all
is-
the Snyderverse.
Dawn of the Dead has to be the precursor to Army of the Dead, right?
Yeah, it's like the whole shebang, huh?
That's true, maybe. Yeah.
How does Watchmen fit into that, or does it just not?
Oh no, it's everything. Everything
Why did
has
you
to
say
fit.
that name? I just...
No, the way that they can fit Watchmen in is in Rebel Moon Part 2, we can have one character say, hello, I'll tell you my backstory right about now, and it will just be the plot of Watchmen.
Yeah.
Watchmen will just go, and then 2 hours after that, then the movie starts.
Yeah.
Penultimately,
Sorry, I was just had to pull that one up.
Dude, at the end of the movie, they literally give the girl a lobotomy. So that's what you
Movie
feel.
is
at the
Fucking
end of-
ass.
So yeah, that's how we felt
That
watching
was-
Sucker Punch.
that's the tie-in. It's a lobotomy, and you get Rebel Moon as a result. Like that makes sense, doesn't it? Like this is what is left of her head. It's just a world in which like all the ideas are stolen from somebody else, and no characters exist, and they don't talk to each other. So like it's actually the lobotomy is the key to the Snyderverse, I think.
So she was, yeah, that's the framing device for how it all makes no sense. It was all intentional, you see.
Yes, it also explains a lot of his fans' behavior and taste.
Yes, yes.
You have to embrace the lobotomy. If not, you won't understand. You
You
won't
must
escape
understand,
you
my
want to escape
child.
the Matrix if you don't get lobotomized. So that's why Snyder fans are above all.
Wait, does that gives extra meaning to Rebel Moon Part 2, the Scar Giver? The Scar is referring to the lobotomy.
Oh, it's great. So in the course of like the last hour, we've created Schindler's List 2, and we've now predicted the final like form of the Snyderverse. This is
We've
good. I think
solved.
we're doing.
We've solved Zack Snyder
We've
theories.
solved. Uninspired. Do you want to take this penultimate one
Yeah,
for us?
sure. Taker 610 for $5. Mahler mentioned once that someone told him the story in Western made Godzilla's is supposed to be. Oh, the story in Western made Godzilla's is supposed to be stupid. He was just bewildered by that. I don't think it started out as stupid. I think the 2014 Godzilla is pretty good
Yeah,
in
that
terms
was
of like
pretty
an actual
serious.
movie, and it also gives you a lot in terms of sense of scale. Kong was interesting. It was still good then. Then Godzilla King of the Monsters. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck they started doing over there, and it just went into Pacific Rim Uprising territory at that point. Like, yeah, even the end of Godzilla X Kong looks like Pacific Rim Uprising. It's just pure stupidity at that point. But I still think that you can critically analyze it, even though I don't think that the writers themselves want to create a coherent or I don't even think that they're there to create a good coherent movie. Yeah, I think they just want to do some mindless entertainment, and the only way that they can do it is have big monsters fight each other, but they have to write humans somehow. So
Well, it's such an
Yeah.
ignorant argument because Avengers exists, you know?
Mhm.
I think the 2012 Avengers movie, because the argument is, bro really expected Godfather of big lizard punching big monkey. And I'm like, I don't know. The Avengers is a high quality film, and it's big green fucking monster fighting
It's campy.
metal red dude. Like,
Mhm.
you know?
Like
Yep.
the dialogue is so cheesy in that movie, and but it's so charming, and also it works.
yeah, and they set out to make a good movie.
Mhm.
Here, I just think that they set out to make whatever. That's
Yeah.
it.
It's the ultimate insult. They think that their fans are dumb and that they will accept whatever they're given
And
and
they
will
do.
defend it. And they do. Lo and behold, they
And they
do.
fucking
Yes,
do.
that's so they're right,
Absolutely
which is
do.
really fucking depressing. But otherwise, you can make the easy argument, the easy direct comparison argument. You have Jurassic Park, Jurassic World Dominion. One of these is
yeah.
shit, one of these is really good, and they both involve dinosaurs. Jaws, Meg 2 The Trench. Same thing. Giant underwater monster. Not really the same quality of film, are they? Not even close, in fact. So also Godzilla. I think that the minimum requirement should be that a Godzilla film should maybe be a bit better than Pacific Rim, if only to stop the Japanese from crying. But that's not what we've got. So
I also don't like those movies are very campy, and we love them because like for that reason. But like I don't understand the argument though. I mean, like we made a new movie updated for modern dumbasses, I guess, that would like accept this kind of thing. I don't know, because that's not really an argument. Like, hey, we made a movie that is shit, and it's honoring other movies that are shit. And so now that means that this movie's good because we did that thing well. That's not how it fucking works.
We're coherent in the shittiness. Yeah, I think at least they should have some. Well, that's what I was saying at the beginning of the MonsterVerse. Actually, it looks as if they had set out to do something interesting. It's like, Godzilla, the first one was good, very concise, lacking of Godzilla, but still it was there. Kong was good. Yeah, but then after that it was just a nosedive. Yeah, once Charles Dance came in,
Great
they
film.
nosedived it. Yeah, Tremors is fantastic.
Tremors, stupid monster movie, awesome movie. Like, actually, well done.
Well,
I've actually never seen it.
Oh, you should. It's a good film, all round good film.
Don't watch the 15 sequels. Watch
that
watch
is of the older ones, like of the Showa era. That's probably my favorite one, and it's nostalgia. And it is a really, really bad movie. And in fact, I remember when I was talking about this movie, describing how awful it is. And you can still love schlock.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's more of just defending its objective.
Yeah,
quality,
saying that it was made like to not make sense. And it's like, no, you can't. I can't have you take that defense. That's the big issue.
Yeah, just tell me the shit and that you love it, and we'll move
exactly.
On. Like I like okay, cool, yeah.
Like me, I like the Godzilla versus Kong. I think it's a shit movie.
Yeah, I liked Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah, it's a shit movie, but you have a lot of fun with it. Like, you can watch it. We were saying even before, Roland Emmerich, dude, like the epitome of shit movies, but enjoyable.
Yeah, and there are degrees to that too, because Independence Day is actually, that is, and I wouldn't find anyone. I think they would argue that that's not his best movie. And it's still schlock, like it's a B movie schlock.
Yeah.
But you can do that poorly too, like just because it's intended to be bad. I don't know. That's such a fucking bizarre argument, man. Like, it's just like chasing your tail.
Dude, Godzilla fans, man, return to monkey. They literally are.
Amen.
We've got Larry for $2 who says one of you guys needs to do a breakdown of Jaws. That would be lovely to do.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah, I don't have any time. We could do it on a stream maybe one day.
I'd happily do a breakdown of Jaws: The Revenge, dude. I love that movie.
Yeah, that one is shit.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine,
yes,
Michael Caine in the Bahamas being hunted by a shark that's hunting down his entire family. It's some of the stupidest shit ever.
Doesn't the shark follow them on holiday? Like,
yes. The shark is actually out for vengeance. It's now
out for revenge.
Yes.
Yeah, I see. It's in the okay.
That's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, but it's so fun, man. Especially coming off Jaws 3, which was total ass, man. Jaws 3D was ass, man. Oh, Jaws 4 is just
so much
schlock, good schlock. That's it. Jaws 4 is good schlock. But yeah, the first Jaws is a great movie.
It is. And finally, for tonight at least, Random, would you like to take this one for us?
Yeah, so from Tai Fung, member for 13 months. Great discussion today, a fun listen. I hope I'm not radicalized from it more than I already am. Yeah, I hope not. I like seeing our corner of YouTube push back against the ist and phobe allegations that are meant to stifle debate. Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with that. Like, it's all too easy to shut down conversation just by attaching labels to things.
Yep.
Indeed, it
Totally
is.
agree.
And it's lazy because it means that then you essentially justify in your own mind and not having to engage with what was said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right. Well, on that note, I think that basically brings us to the end of the show proper. The last thing to do is to have everyone, shamelessly plug whatever it is that they happen to be working on at the moment. We'll start with Andrew. What's coming up with you?
Temple of Doom, as usual. That's it.
It'll be done one day.
It'll be interesting to compare the number of death threats you get for that video to the number of death threats Nick got for Godzilla.
Yeah.
I'll leave a creative one, Andrew. I'll leave a creative one.
Yeah.
That's how little you think of Indiana Jones fans, Platoon, to compare them to Godzilla fans.
All I'm saying is that lots of people really, really like all of the Indiana Jones. Well, all three of the good ones. So yeah, I'm just warning you. There might be some negative reaction. Some of it might be from me. So, just be prepared.
I'll bring my gloves for the next BSUP that's after that.
Uninspired, what is coming up for you?
Nothing really right now. I guess maybe I have a new video coming out either Sunday or Monday. It's gonna be on time crimes, Los Cronocrímenes. It's a Spanish movie from 2007. I don't know. I think it's a great time travel weird slasher movie. So yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, I do recommend it. I think it's a fantastic time travel movie that people don't talk about. And yeah, man, the Spanish know their shit when it comes to making good thrillers. So watch out for that. And yeah, thank you guys for having me on. That's pretty much it, man.
Well, thank you as ever for coming. Random Film Talk, thank you very much for coming as well. What is coming up on your channel/channels?
Yes, thank you for inviting me. So yeah, coming up, I don't have anything that I'm directly working on right now because I'm waiting for Rebel Moon Part 2 to come out.
Oh, yes.
I've started chipping away at Part 3 of Arcane because I released Part 2 of my Arcane video, of my Arcane series on Friday.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, so currently that's out.
I will watch it after.
Awesome. Yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Apart from that, we got Arcane Part 3 and Rebel Moon Part 2 coming out, I don't know, at some point as soon as I finish them. Those are what I'm going to be doing next.
It feels like that there needs to be some sort of therapy class for people who jump from Arcane to Rebel Moon Part 2 just because of the such a huge jump in quality.
Well, yeah, the thing is here I will have done it twice because I basically finished my first Arcane video and then I watched Rebel Moon and was like, okay, I think I have things to say. So I delayed the release of my Arcane video so that I could do Rebel Moon, and then I released Arcane Part 1. And now I'm intentionally, I guess, slotting Rebel Moon Part 2 in between parts 2 and 3 of Arcane. So
it's like a shit sandwich. That's good. Like it's
absolutely
great stuff, bad stuff, good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And doing Arcane has absolutely been a breath of fresh air. It's been very therapeutic. But I am definitely looking forward to watching and finding out how much Rebel Moon Part 2 just doesn't work. Because I'm kind of expecting one of two things, and maybe Zach will surprise us, but like either he's gonna take the characters that he thinks he's established in part 1 and just roll with it and let sparks fly, in which case that will be hilarious because we know nothing about any of the characters, or he's going to spend film 2 introducing a whole bunch more characters. And yeah, I'm not sure which will be worse.
He's probably just going to introduce more characters and say that you'll get character development in the director's cut, cut of part 2. That's what it's going to be.
We saved the character development for the director's cut.
Yeah,
literally all of the character development. Yeah. Oh god, that film.
Did you see his tweet? He didn't tweet, but it was a post from like Discussing Film about an article, and he said that he would go if part 2 fails, if Rebel Part 2 fails, he'll go and become a porn director. And unironically, that might be the best course of action for his career.
Absolutely, yes. Lots of slow-mo.
I was going to say slow-mo. Slow-mo jubblies. I didn't expect those.
The slowest cum shot you'll ever see.
Oh no.
Oh no, now I'm imagining it. Oh, thank you so much for that. And fucking Rebel Moon is honed it, like he's now got slow-mo, so it can be like extra slow-mo cum shot. It's just you think it's gone slow and it gets even slower. Oh god.
Just let him add classical music behind it. So like, oh yeah, this is it, baby.
What an absolute hack. Yes, I can't wait for Rebel Moon Part 2. But Cynic, what is coming up for you?
I should have a video out on the day of BSUP next week. Actually, yeah, it should be out on Monday, right before the show. It's a secret.
Secret video.
Secret. All right.
Don't tell anyone.
Any
Chat,
any
don't tell
hints?
anyone.
Subtle hints. Any rumors? Any brief, short?
I actually have multiple people helping me on this video this time.
Ooh.
It's like I don't know. I wouldn't say it's like a bigger video, but I'll have 3 or 4 people actually helping me on this one, and it actually required research and stuff. I do like 3 or 4 of these a year. This is one of those. Well, normally I'm doing a review, so I just go watch the movie and I fucking tell you what I think, and and I do like 3 or 4 deep dive video essays a year. This is one of those.
It's gonna be a chunky boy.
And chunky, well, for me, what's like 25 minutes, which is like a little Platoon second channel video. Fuck me. Like, whatever. But yeah, it'll be out before BSUP next week.
All right, mysterious, but looking forward to it. And yeah, I guess finally for me, there will be a Godzilla X Kong video at some point this week, I would think. I'm sort of resigned to the idea that the June video is going to be months in the works, so there'll be other things being worked on alongside it. I will not set a release date for that, but eventually it will be released. But yeah, Godzilla X Kong is the next one, I suppose, and then I don't know, Rebel Moon, Velma, who the fuck knows? But whatever it is, it will be terrible. I'm pretty sure.
Well, are you a Fallout fan?
I watched and really enjoyed watching my friends play Fallout 3, and that is the extent of my Fallout knowledge. But I will be watching it and maybe reviewing it. It depends. Because there's also like Star Trek Discovery Season 5, which would be a nostalgic thing to cover because it's one of the first things I ever covered. But I watched episode 1 and I don't care. So we'll see, I think, with that one. But not got particularly high hopes for Fallout. It looks like generic, cheerful, chippy, colorful stuff.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. But yeah, that's basically it, I guess. So just, also thank you to the panel for sticking with us. Thanks to the chat for sticking with us all this time. We should be back this time next week, and we hope we will see you then. But bye-bye for now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.